focus on what really matters.
Head over to J. Mullins Jewelry to check out their selection of rings, watches, custom designed jewelry, and much more. They're a local business located at 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro. They have gifts for all occasions, weddings, graduations, anniversaries, whatever you need, you can find it at J. Mullins Jewelry. That's at 352 West Northfield Boulevard or online at mullinsjewelry.com.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive offers complete tax preparation, financial, and bookkeeping services.
This is Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service. From personal tax preparation to business bookkeeping, payroll, and taxes, at Craig's Tax Service, our staff is here to help.
Get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
As a former Siegel Star football player, I know the importance of the high school sports experience. Good luck to all county student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
This is Primetime Sports, WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna, 1019, 100.5, AM 1450, wgnssports.com, Big GTV, streaming video, and always at the game. The game. It's where you've had breakfast with the coaches for decades. It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's. We'll sit down with the coaches to talk about their most recent games and the matchups ahead. Now from WGNS and Big GTV, it's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Saturday morning Coaches Show, October the 25th. 2025. We are getting closer and closer to the end of the regular season in high school football and making our way toward playoffs here. We've got one more week of regular season play left after last night's games, and we're going to talk a little bit about the schedule. A lot of Thursday games coming up this next week, and then playoffs. So what happened last night around the league in Week 10, it was on our WGNS and Big GTV game of the week, 42-0. Smyrna, a winner over the Laverne Wolverines. Oakland Patriots defeated Stewart's Creek 49-0. It was Rockvale falling to Riverdale 28-14. Sorry, I didn't have that one written down for some reason. Blackman Blaze 37, Siegel Stars 31. The Eagleville Eagles down Zion Christian Academy 33-0, and it was PCA a winner over Concord Christian School 38-28, and that was a come from behind for PCA. In fact, this morning we're going to do a quick SRM Concrete Solid Performer, and for PCA, 12 carries, 157 yards, 3 touchdowns for Porter Dedman in their victory. Tip of the cap, too, to Nate Lamb, who had 146 yards passing, 17 of 24 last night. SRM Concrete, locally grown, nationally known. That sets up a huge matchup next Friday with MTCS and Providence Christian from Middle Tennessee Christian School, which we will have on the air for you next Friday. And Eagleville will go to Fayetteville. Those are the 2 games that are on Friday. Everything else is on Thursday night, including the Battle of the Borough, the oldest rivalry here in Rutherford County, with Oakland and Riverdale. Locking Horns will be at Oakland for that broadcast on Thursday night as well on WGNS and Big GTV. Same for the MTCS PCA game on Friday, both on radio and streaming. Blackman will host the Rockville Rockets. It's Siegel hosting Laverne, and Smyrna will host the Stewart's Creek Redhawks next Thursday night. We've got a full slate of coaches to talk to this morning. We're going to hear from some different folks. Smyrna, we're going to have defensive line coach Lance White join us to talk Bulldog football, and we're going to talk some volleyball on Cougar Corner today since MTCS did not have a game last night. I know it was maybe on some schedules. It was a last-minute change to try to pick up the team out of Asheville, North Carolina. Then they canceled, and things happened, and it just did not work out. But we're going to talk volleyball, fresh off of a state championship, the first ever. So that's what we've got slated for you this morning. John Dinkins is going to take you through the first leg of the show. John joining us remotely as he continues to recover, but his voice is good. It's always been just soothing to hear John's voice every Saturday morning, and we're going to hear him the first 3 interviews coming up, followed by Bill Hockenberry, and then I'll have the last leg of the Coach's Show this morning on WGNS, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show wherever you're listening or watching the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner.
At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna, we're committed to providing local car owners with top-notch auto repair services. Let's hear what some customers have to say about Dr. Automotive.
I just really appreciate Danny and his whole team. I always feel like I'm going to get great service and the right outcome.
You just don't find any better people.
He's always been very good.
We've got the cure for your car. Dr. Automotive, keeping your car running smoothly, mile after mile. Visit our website, smyrnaautorepair.com.
For 27 years, Kenneth Barrett has proudly served the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office and now asks for your vote for sheriff. He started at age 20 as a detention officer, working his way through patrol, narcotics, and interstate crime operations. He's led specialized teams while keeping transparency and fairness at the forefront. Kenneth Barrett as sheriff means proven leadership you can trust to keep our community safe.
I'm Kenneth Barrett, running for Rutherford County Sheriff, and I'd appreciate your vote.
Paid for by Kenneth Barrett for Sheriff, Treasurer Jan Stewart.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Auctions are easy, fast, and profitable.
You have a staff that comes to your home. They walk you through it. It's been my experience. What I thought I should get from my home, I got much more for it.
Call Parks Auction and Realty or visit parksauction.com.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Clark's Auction Company, committed to auction excellence.
Sold it to you, 27.5.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com and Big G TV.
And this portion of the Coach's Show is brought to you by Middle Tennessee Electric, serving our community by providing affordable, reliable, and safe electricity online at mte.com. John Dinkins is here with you. I'm on the injured reserve, but I'm faithfully trying to do my job here. And Will Kreisky joins me, the head coach of the Riverdale Warriors. And Coach, it's good to see you. I missed you last week, but I'm glad at least to see you remotely anyway.
Yeah. There's a lot of things I want to say right now, but we're on air, John.
Wow.
I've missed you too.
I don't want you to think it was because I was scared. Okay.
Yeah, okay. After last time you were here, you got on me pretty good. I hadn't forgot about that.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll be out for the rest of the year then. The football season's over.
Yeah.
I had a big win last night over Rockville, and a game I thought you probably knew would be a scary one because they're kind of up and down. I mean, they run hot and cold, and when they're hot, they're really hot.
Yeah, Coach Council's doing a great job. I mean, he's changed the mentality of those players, those coaching staff. What Coach Council's done in a short period of time is impressive, man. He's changing that culture in that school and that community. And, those kids played hard for 4 quarters. And I told my kids, just like he did I'm glad we played Henry County the last 2 years because that's the style that our kids knew that he was going to bring. Our kids are used to that style. And that game last night was similar to the first game when we played Henry County. So it was a tough physical game and a 4-quarter game, and I'm proud of our kids for finishing the game and keep believing in themselves and keep fighting.
There are games around. Sometimes you'll play and you'll go there. They're kind of scary games, and that's one on the schedule. You've got a big game next week, and you can sometimes kids have a tendency to overlook them. but that really wasn't the case last night. They kind of held their own.
Yeah, that's what we told them all week. Rockville was needing that win to secure a playoff spot, and we told them that we were going to get their best shot. And I think our kids saw that. And we had a heck of a second quarter. Our kids played really well in the second quarter. Didn't play as great in the third quarter, but was able to finish the game in the fourth quarter. And then we could have punched one in late, took a knee. Kids were moving the ball, and we did what we needed to do to not let them get the ball back in their hands.
I want to talk about some players that stood out last night, and a lot of times we talk about the same guys, but Gavin Hampton has really come on, 14 of 25 for 198 yards, 3 touchdowns. He has really kind of gotten into a comfort zone, hadn't he, at quarterback?
Yeah, Gavin played really well. He's settling down with all the receivers, and they're doing a great job. And, he got the ball. I mean, he does a good job getting all of them the ball, and Coach Barnes does a good job with the play calling. And they all executed well. And, they made mistakes, but they kept trusting each other, and Gavin kept trusting the O-line, stepping up, making plays, and, pocket. And, we ran a option with him, and I'm holding my breath, but, he scampered off and got a good 25-yard run.
These teams like Siegel and Rockville and Stewart's Creek, Smyrna, they're all scary. Your defense, though, has really been the most consistent thing, I think, over the whole year. They may give up a touchdown or two, but, I mean, they really know what the stakes are and when it's time to kind of pour the gas on, I guess.
Yeah, I was really impressed with them last night. They only gave up 7 points. The other touchdown was a pick six. So, Coach Rell and the defensive staff did a great job. And to hold Rockville's offense just to 7, I thought that was pretty impressive, because they're big up front. They got a good quarterback. The receivers they got some receivers that can run. They were fortunate to getting those Webb kids, and those kids can run. They're fast. They're just like any other Rutherford County kid. And we had to do a good job tackling on the perimeter last night, and I thought the kids did a great job tackling on the perimeter. And then you have to tackle big Paldo. Paldo's a big guy, and I thought the linebackers, safeties did a great job running to him, tackling him, and wrapping him up. And the kids flew around, trusted the calls, and made plays. When we needed a play made, they made the play.
The Jacob Vaughn rushed for 61 yards and a TD reception. I know you're pleased with his performance, and you got a couple other kids here too. But when you say spreading the wealth, Gavin is really kind of doing that now, and he's got more than just one receiver. It's really hard to stop you guys.
They're coming along, and you just got to keep playing and got to keep trusting each other. And, we got other guys in the lineups, behind them that can play too. And so we just got to keep getting better, because you have to have depth this time of year. And, I told the guys last night, for us to continue to keep playing, you got to have a better second half. I don't feel like we came out and played well in the third quarter. And, we got to do a better job of that if you want to have an extended long season. But, yeah, again, I'm appreciative, what these receivers and quarterbacks are doing, and running backs working together to gain that trust with each other.
I got a couple other guys to talk about. Luke Tritch, 2 receptions for 61 yards and a TD. And he just keeps on doing his thing week in, week out.
Yeah, Luke took a tough hit up in the middle and came off for a few plays, but then got back in. I thought, for a freshman to take a shot like that and then take just a series off and then get in is pretty impressive. What he did.
Corbin Reynolds, 4 receptions, 61 yards and a touchdown. Again, another great performance, and another go-to guy.
Yeah, he did a good job. When his number was called, he made plays, caught the ball, and caught a great one. That touchdown play was pretty impressive out of him. And Corbin's a special kid, quiet kid. It just comes to work.
Let's talk a little bit about the offensive line, and because that is a strength of any team, and you guys. They seem to have really responded this year and come on, had a tough schedule to begin with, trying to learn and get better and better each week. But they've kind of solidified as well and given Gavin a lot more time to throw the football.
Yeah, they're still coming along, and they still need to improve and get better. But, after losing LB and, trying to figure out pieces and moving pieces around, and they're slowly getting better. And obviously we need a big night at them next Thursday night. But, they're doing a good job and, giving Gavin those opportunities to make those plays.
Will Kreisky's our guest here on the Prentice Salsa Heating and Air Coach's Corner. And Will, there's one thing about Riverdale now that I see. In order to be successful year in, year out, I think your middle school programs and your coaching staff, they have to kind of get the best out of each and every kid. And it seems like you guys really do a good job of molding kids, even if they haven't come from a successful middle school program, to transfer it over to the high school.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I've been fortunate, to have a lot of these guys around for a long time. Most of them, has been with me for 10 seasons now, and then I got 4 of them that's played for me in 16, 17. So, I got guys that know what I believe in and trust me and believe and that they do what the core values are, and they know what the standard is, and they set the example of the standards each and every day at practice. And I'm very blessed for the staff that I have.
10 years. You're one of the longer running ones now, tenured wise, aren't you?
You see this gray on my beard, right?
It does make a difference, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I guess it's time now to talk about our boys across the way, the Oakland Patriots. It's always a great game, and here lately, the last few years that I can recall, it's always been like the last game of the season. Is that a good thing or a bad thing, or do you see it either way? It doesn't really matter.
I don't know. It's tough going into the playoffs, playing, after playing them, and it's going to be an emotional game. It's going to be, emotions are going to ride high. You're going to have your ups and downs, and I don't know. It's tough. Coach Creasy and I talked about it last year. For you to make a run, you got to play this game, and you just add on. Like, this is pretty much a playoff. Coach Creasy and I kind of count this as the playoffs. Yes, we'll still play. It's like a double elimination. Because you got to have that playoff mentality starting this week. Because we all know Oakland. We know what they are. We know what they're about. They're the best team in the state. And you got to match that. And you got to play physical, and you got to play 4 quarters, and you got to play every down.
And 2 things about it, Coach. If you win the game, you've got to worry about a letdown stay in playoff mode. If you lose the game, you've got to worry about, okay, did that affect us mentally that we're not really going to be prepared? Either way, it makes for that first playoff game really tough.
Yes, it does, and that's why you see all this gray. It is tough. It's stressful, and that's the things that go through my head, and I try to work on and talk to these kids. But we got a good group. The group last night, we threw at Pitt 6 early, and it was 7-0. It was just calm. It was just, you could tell it was a mature football team. Not much panic, not much pointing fingers, not much screaming. It was just calm, and the kids just come back, responded, and scored a match at 7-7, and then we went up 14-7, then we went up 21-7. So that, I was glad to see us go down 7-0 and then come back and fight and go up 21-7.
You've got to have that mentality too against Oakland too, because there'll be a place in the game where there will be a big play that they'll have, and you've got to respond, whether it's good or bad. You've got to respond.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to stress. With Oakland, they're going to make plays. They got some of the top players in the state. Joel White, he's unbelievable. Both their quarterbacks are phenomenal. Dante Cameron, who we all know well, can run. That kid can run. I watched him every day in practice last year, and he's really good, and we're going to have to wrap him up. We're going to have to tackle him. We're going to have to run our feet, and we have to be successful. We can't have a bunch of missed tackles next week.
And the last thing, I guess, with them is they have a lot of depth in terms of they can bring kids, fresh faces.
Craig Tudd. We didn't even mention Craig Tudd. He's one of the best players in the state, And so, Justice Haggard, I can keep going on and on. So, but it's fun. It's what the rivalry is, man. You got top players in the state playing each other, and that's what Rutherford County football is about. Let's go. Put on our pants, put our shoulder pads, strap our helmet up, and get ready for a ball game.
Well, Will, I appreciate talking to you, and I hate that I'm not there live.
I miss you. I miss picking on you and miss you. You and Floyd. You and Floyd boiling me.
Yeah. I'm going to try to get back. I'm going to try to get back before the playoffs get too deep. So,
just don't be nice to that other Kreisky since you like him better.
Oh, Will, you know better than that. Now he's going to be mad. Okay, this portion of the Coaches Show brought to you by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin, who will work with you to develop a complete, tailored strategy to help you achieve your financial goals. That's Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin. When we come back, we'll be talking to Lance White, the defensive line coach for the Smyrna Bulldogs. If you need concrete work done, who would I call? Dan Franz Concrete.
Here's why. He's local. He attended Walter Hill Elementary, Oakland, and MTSU. He served our community as a school resource officer for 9 years, and he's involved in the community.
This is Dan with Dan France Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Dan France Concrete is a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. Check out danfranceconcrete.com online to see some of their work.
At Middle Tennessee Electric, we see the lines that link us all, illuminating our neighborhoods, empowering our businesses, and helping us to recharge. Because we believe in the power of good energy. Whether it comes from our grids, the sun, or a kind heart. And as your family and our region continue to grow, you can trust that we'll always be there for you. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Hey, Rutherford County sports fans, from auto, home, renters, business insurance, and more, trust your local State Farm agents. Celeste Middleton, Ron Reeves, Emerson Williams, Alex Williams, Dana Womack, and Andy Womack. This powerful team lives here, works here, and are your neighbors. They're ready to help you manage everyday risk, recover from the unexpected, and realize your dreams. Contact Celeste, Ron, Emerson, Alex, Dana, or Andy for all of your insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019 100.5, 1450 wgnssports.com and Big G TV.
And we welcome you back to the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner. John Dinkins with you, and we have defensive line coach Lance White of the Smyrna Bulldogs with us. And Coach, big game last night, needed a big win, got one.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on. Yeah, it's a big rivalry game for both teams, and fortunately for us, we were able to come out on top.
It was 42-0 over Laverne, a game that I wouldn't say was how do I put it? A little sloppy. There was a lot of fumbles, a lot of penalties. It was kind of a slow game in terms of I guess toward the end of the score at the end, you guys really poured it on them in the third and fourth quarter. But defensively, and you being a defensive line coach, you've got to be extremely happy with their play last night.
Yeah, we started out a little bit slow and sluggish to start with. Had a little bit of formation issues and trying to get lined up properly, there in the first quarter, but we're able to get that quickly fixed and be able to get, our foot back on the gas pedal a little bit. A little slow start, like you say, turning the ball over a little bit too much, but then we were able to come back and force a couple turnovers as well, and really had some guys step up and play very well as the night went on.
Had some fumble recoveries, always good to see. Some turnovers. You had a fumble, but got it back. It was just kind of a topsy-turvy game in that respect. Let's talk about some individuals here this morning. Let's start with the quarterback, of course. A.J. Jackson, 7 of 10 for 103 yards, rushed for 17. Numbers that you need to get out of him, right? I mean, those are consistent numbers.
Yeah, he's really stepped up these last couple of weeks and matured and done a really good job for us running the offense, and couldn't be more pleased with AJ's play and his development for the last couple of weeks for sure.
Gordon had 6 carries for 141 yards, broke a big one, 2 TDs, and Sturgis 15 carries, 108 yards, 2 TDs. Credit the offensive line a little bit for that too, along with them.
Oh yeah, the offensive line's opened up some big holes there, especially in the second half. And like I said, Gordon, Travail breaking one there for a long run. Just give him a crease. I mean, it's what he needs. And of course, tough runs all night long by those two guys. They credit the offensive line too. They really, really played well last night, especially in the second half. So it really gets our team going and fuels it.
Y'all have always had a mindset. I've always felt like Matt has it's kind of a grinding, take your lunch pail to work with you and do the 8 to 5 thing and nothing fancy, but be at the right place, the right time, do the things that you need to do as an individual player. And
never ceases to amaze me. People go away from that formula, but that formula works, doesn't it?
It sure does. It's something that we do every day in practice. It's part of the mindset that we try to create with these kids, and credit to kids. The kids have taken that on, very, very well all year long. We really do pride ourselves in being a physical football team, and that starts at the top with the head coach and his mindset, and it filters through the staff and on to the players, and the players are doing a really good job of it.
Well, I wouldn't be complete, I guess. Every time I get to talk to you guys, I have to mention Jerry Martin. 11 tackles, a sack, and forced a fumble. This guy is a beast, really.
He is a dude. He's just been a pleasure to coach. We can, he's going to bring the energy every single day to practice. He's a leader on the field. He's always rallying his guys around him, and I think our kids feed off of that a lot. Jerry is the energy beast, so to speak, on our football team, and a real leader. I think he had 11 tackles last night. It was just making plays from the nose position all over the field.
Brody Hines had a good game too, 30-yard interception to go with 5 tackles as well. Tell us a little bit about Brody.
Brody's done a great job for us. He's really playing at a high level. He was just in the right spot at the right time because his eyes were in the right place, making the right reads. He stepped right in front of the ball. We got a really good couple of blocks to get him into the end zone there. It was a really, really good play. We were really excited to see Brody step up and do that because he's come along all year. He's really done a great job.
Lance White is our guest here on the Prentice Allsup Hitting and Air Coach's Corner. And I guess while we've got Matt gone, let's talk about him a little bit. You've already talked about his ability to be physical and play it that way. What makes him stand out? Because he's the longest running coach in our district. What really makes him stand out?
Well, I've known Coach Williams for a few years now. I've been with him for the last 2, and I tell you, from just knowing him, always well organized and well respected. Does a great job every facet of the game. I mean, he just does a tremendous job. I think it all starts with the top, and when you got a guy like Matt who gets the staff organized the way he does and is just top notch. I just can't say enough good things about him. And he's always prided himself on being a very physical minded football coach, and that just pours into the team. But more importantly, he's just a tremendous human being. And the kids know that at any point in time, he's got their back. And right. When you build relationships like that with kids, they'll step up and play for a guy like that. He just does a tremendous job in every facet of the game.
It's kind of the way you live your life, I mean, with him, he's got that. But I think you nailed it when you said he's got your back, and those kids know that. And he's also, I know the coaches support him a lot because you guys have been with him a long, long time now.
Yeah, there's a lot of longevity on this coaching staff, and of course, again, that goes back to him. He is a guy you want to work for. Tremendous man of character, and you just can't say you can't say enough good things about him. He's been a pleasure to work for, and I just, again, I can't say enough good things about the man.
Well, let's talk about big game last night, big win. Got another one you got to come up with on at home with Stewart's Creek next week. That's a big game. You really want to get that one.
Rivalry game, big game. Both teams are going to be up for it. It's always close between us, and those guys over there do a really good job as well. And they've had a few injuries here and there. We don't know. Exactly who's going to play, in certain key spots and so forth. But credit them. They've done a great job of coaching those guys all year, and they've got a chance to break 500 with a win Friday night as well. They hung 49 a couple of weeks ago on Knox Webb, so they've got the ability to be a good football team, and coming into Friday night, just got a lot of respect for them. Seems like they execute well. They do a lot of things formationally, which can give you some trouble. So we're going to have to be on our toes and be sharp in order to defend them.
And are you guys healthy at this point? As healthy as you can be, being the last game of the season coming up?
Yeah, as healthy as you can be.
The Prentice Allsup Heating Air Coach's Corner. This portion of the show brought to you by Las Casas Feed Supply, locally owned and operated by Coy and Jennifer Young, specializing in animal feeds, premium pet foods, farm supplies, and more.
Pizza. You can now order Murfreesboro's favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com. We've made ordering online a breeze. From sirpizzatn.com, tap on the location nearest you and begin your order for carryout or delivery. You can order the Royal Feast, create your own, spaghetti, calzones, everything right from our online portal at sirpizzatn.com. Sir Pizza, you made me love pizza again.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
If your old unit needs a tune-up, the professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air service all major brands and even offer same-day service in most cases. Keep your home or business comfortable year-round. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Ring Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass. Online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive offers complete tax preparation, financial, and bookkeeping services.
This is Brandon Craig with Craig's Tax Service. We're proud to support all Rutherford County athletes.
Craig's Tax Service reminds you that it makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We've been serving Rutherford County since 1988.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
We're just off Memorial Boulevard at 142 Heritage Park Drive.
Frustration many are feeling is real and justified. Kenneth Barrett said that after the county commission denied raises for deputies this year, and as sheriff, fair pay will be a top priority.
We need to figure out how we can get ours comparable to other agencies and start communication with the county commission to try to get less steps at a higher percentage.
With nearly 30 years at the sheriff's office, Barrett brings servant leadership, accountability, transparency, and fairness. Learn more at KennethBarrettForSheriff.com.
Paid for by Kenneth Barrett for Sheriff, J.M. Stewart, Treasurer.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com and Big G TV.
And this portion of the show brought to you by Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, family owned and operated since 1977. Get the best service with But if I had been there last week to tell you, Siegel scares me worse than anybody you can play in district play. You got Siegel, you got your Smyrnas. Well, I think people look at records and go, well, you know, we're going to – but they're all good, aren't they?
Yes, sir. You're having a bad connection, so we're not able to hear you. It's probably a good thing for us though. But we got you back going now. So I just caught the tail end of that. Appreciate you having me on. It must be nice sitting in the living room this morning.
Yeah, I've got my pajama pants on, but with a sweatshirt. Let me rephrase the question. Siegel's a dangerous team. That's a tough game, and a game that creeps up on you. But you've got Smyrna that way. I mean, there are a lot of teams that any night can give you trouble. But Siegel scares me probably worse than any of them in terms of pushing it to the limit, really.
Yeah, they did a great job last night with their game plan that Coach Renshaw and his staff had and executing. We told the kids all week that we're going to get Siegel's best because they had to win last night to get in the playoffs, and it showed. That those kids did not. We blocked a punt in the first series, scored, but those kids didn't lay down. Those kids didn't quit. They kept fighting in the entire game, and And you got to give your hats off to Coach Renshaw and the Siegel team, because they did an outstanding job. And we had some uncharacteristic penalties, really disappointed in throughout the game. That something that we're not about in what we do. So we'll clean that up this week and get it fixed. But they were causing us problems all night. But one thing I will say is we did find a way to win. We found a way to pull it out and come out on with a W. It was huge for us, and so hopefully that was a wake up call for us. And so we'll be, because we know next week's going to be just as tough.
Would it be fair to say 2 years ago that could have been an upset? I mean, Siegel could have taken you all. I mean, maybe the things fall apart, penalties hurt, and you're just not able to recover 2 years ago, let's say.
Yeah. You can say that. And I will say this about this group. It was, they wasn't really too rattled much. They just kept playing, played through the mistakes, played through the penalties. It wasn't a lot of fighting, and there wasn't anything going on the sideline. We did have a good talk at halftime. I told them we're going to find out what type of team we are in the second half. What are we going to do? How are we going to respond to this? I said, because we're going to get Siegel's best, and it was. And like I told you all year long, like every one of these games is a playoff game. They're huge. Siegel had a good crowd. It was good atmosphere last night. It was the first cold Friday night, so it felt like it was football weather, and thought the kids did good. Tyler Bourne-Bozen had a great night with the field goals. Him and long snapper Ethan Najim did a great job. Really proud of those guys. Defensively, we played well. We didn't give up much in the second half. But I think we made a few adjustments that helped out, and I think we kind of started playing our style of football and kind of woke up a little bit. So proud of those guys and what they did offensively. I thought got back to running the football. One thing I was proud of. We haven't really run the football like we've done in the previous 2 weeks, but I thought last night did a great job with Jabari and Daniel Smith.
Let me ask you this: how important? I would think it's extremely important that you've got a field goal kicker can hit them 40 yards or 50 yards. I mean, to have that kind of range, particularly in a critical situation, going into the playoffs after this game next week. That's got to give you a little bit of an edge or help. Yeah.
Tyler connected with his longest last night was a 43-yard field goal. Really proud of him. That was huge for us. Those field goals helped us out. Pretty much helped us win the game with those. Gave him confidence. Not only him confidence, but gave us as a staff to be able to put him out there whenever we need those.
Well, let's talk about some individuals. Elliott had another good game, 9 of 18, 121 yards and a touchdown. He also rushed for 44. His legs mean so much to his game. I mean, he's got that capability of rolling out, making a pass, or can run it. It's kind of a dual threat that you don't get in every quarterback.
Yeah, that's one thing about him. You got to, as a defense, you got to defend all 11. With him running the football, and I thought at times he was able to pull the football and ran and did a great job with that. He started off with a huge pass to Kari Dixon. If I'm not mistaken, Kari finished with, I believe, 6 catches. Was it 105 yards? So I thought he had a great night, and past 2 weeks, it's been Brylan and Bryson with the catches, and then tonight Kari had a big game. So we're able to spread the wealth, and you don't know, you got a couple of guys that you have to stop week in and week out, and you don't know which one it may be.
And Kemp always comes through, it seems like, with a touchdown run of some kind, playing defense as well. That's got to be helping. I would want to say one thing. I think like the defensive line and the offensive line have made great strides over this year, and you want them to come together during playoff time. Defensive line's playing really well, or it has been, and I wasn't able to be at the game last night, but overall, you guys have kind of put that thing together.
Yeah, both. You know, you got to have good fronts on both sides of the ball to have success in this league and make it run in the playoffs. And you know, our guys, James Stewart had a good night last night. Him and Trammell did a great job. Isaac Levy, another one, had a good night. Proud of those guys and what they did. And then offensively, you know, Kenny Jackson, Terry Baskin, Mikel Rodriguez, you know, all three of those guys on the offensive line really stepped up and had a great night. Proud of those guys and what they did and what we were able to accomplish. You know, it was, you know, we had to grind one out, and it was a gritty football game, and proud of how they pulled it out.
Your brother mentioned in his interview about every game, the next game playing Oakland at the end of the season is like a playoff game, and preparing for the actual playoffs. You've got a tough matchup coming up next week too in Rockville. They're scary. They can do a lot of things. You've got to be ready to prepare for them. It's actually kind of a pre-playoff game. It definitely is.
Yeah, it's a playoff game. You know, because they need to win to get in. You know, so we're going to get past 3 weeks. We got every team's best shot. You know, and so, you know, like you said, Coach Counts has done an outstanding job. You see from week one to now how he's really changed the culture there and getting things going. And they're playing his style of football. You know, tough, physical football, and you know, you watch them on film and see the improvement from week one to now. It's going to be a tough physical football game for us next Friday night. We're going to have to be ready. You know, we can't just walk out on the field and just show up. You know, we got to be ready to play. We got to prepare this week in practice, and have a great week of practice in a short week. And it's going to be huge because what they've done and the strides they make throughout this year has been good.
You know more just about it better than anybody about how to change the culture. How do you go about doing that, and how are you successful doing that? Because it's like Coach Counts has changed the culture there. I think you've changed the culture at Blackman. It's no easy task, though, is it?
No, it's not. You know, you're gonna have your ups and downs, and it's tough, you know, and you know, I think he's done a great job, and you know, you've got to put your stamp on a program, how you want it to be done, how you want practice to be run, how you want the weight program to be run, you know, how they act during the school day, everything in a program, you've got to do it, you know, and then you got to buy-in from your assistants, you know, and I think, you know, that's one thing that's really helped me out. You know, I've got a great group of assistant coaches who've done an outstanding job in everything that we do, and so and then administration. You know, I can't say enough. You know about our administration. We've got a great administration staff at Blackman. They believe in what we're doing and what we're trying to do each year, and you know, they see it, and so it's been huge and help us to get where we are today. And you see the same thing going over there at Rockville, what they're able to accomplish this year, and there's no telling the strides they're going to make in the next couple of years.
You also have to have stability, don't you? I mean, it's hard to change coaches and keep changing coaches over and over again. There's got to be I think what would be a plan. I mean, a basic plan, or a 3-year plan, or 4-year plan, or something, because it is hard to do it overnight.
Yes. You know, when I came in and when I sat down and met with Mr. Smith and administration staff, you know, I told them my plan and what we want to do the next 3 to 5 years, and you know, I think you know, we're making. We had our small goals and our bigger goals, and I think each year, you know, we're getting better and we're doing things, and you can see that with this senior class and the junior class has been with us since we've been there, you know, and you see the change and what they do, you know, and so it's been huge. You know, like you said earlier, you know, maybe 2 years ago we might not have won this game, but you know, no one panicked last night. They just kept playing and kept grinding, and you know, we were able to come out with the win.
Your guys just never give up. I mean, the games that I've seen and over this year, I mean, you just really, I think your tenacity throughout the whole game, it never seems to. You don't have any ups and downs. You just play it and play as hard as you can, 24/7 as much as you can.
And I was really proud of Daniel Smith. Stepped in at running back last night. I believe he had 11 carries for 61 yards. He's come off an injury from last year, and he's really the second half of the season starting getting his groove and getting back to the old Daniel, what we saw as a sophomore year. So that was huge night for him, and see the success he has and all the hard work that he's put in the past 3 years that he's been with us.
That's like adding a depth piece, isn't it? I mean,
yes.
That you didn't maybe have at the beginning of the year, but now you've got it. That helps a lot.
Yep.
Matt, always, go ahead.
No, I challenged the kids this past week about running the football, and we got three outstanding backs that can do it. So I told them if we're gonna win here in the next couple of weeks, we got to have a good run game, and I think those three guys will take care of business.
Matt, always a pleasure, and doing great things out at Blackman and your coaching staff, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Hey, we'll always get to sit in this seat now. I'm in your seat today, so I'll get to use it moving forward.
And you can have that job if you'd like. In fact, you do. You look a lot better, that's for sure. That's Matt Kreisky, the head coach of the Blackman Blaze, and when we come back, we'll continue with the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, brought to you by Craig's Tax Service, specializing in personal and business tax preparation, financials, and bookkeeping services. Find out more at CraigsTaxService.com.
Winners Trophies can help you with customized awards for any occasion. Owner Kelly Hockenberry continues to provide awards for sports teams, churches, recognition awards, and more. Call Winners Trophies at 904-6002. That's 904-6002 for the best in quality, service, and pricing. You can also email Kelly, winnerstrophy@comcast.net. That's winnerstrophy@comcast.net. Any award for any occasion. Winners Trophies, 904-6002.
We're catching up with Anne-Marie Brents at Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive, another one of our great local businesses.
Yeah, it's a big family business. Knowing that my grandparents started it, to see it evolve and what it is now, it's just been really cool, and I love it. It's just something I'm very passionate about, and customers have been great to us as well.
Whether it's a quick meal, feeding the whole family, or catering, Rick's Barbecue can handle it all.
It's really something I'm really passionate about, very blessed and thankful for.
Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive.
Your home, your auto. Together, they're where life happens. I'm State Farm Agent Andy Wommel. It's smart to protect them together, to help life go right. Give me a call at 615-890-0850 and let me help you save by combining your home and auto.
Every team knows which play can be the winning move. I'm State Farm Agent Alex Williams, here to help life go right by combining your home and auto insurance. Call me today at 615-898-1150. It's a winning move that saves you time and money.
It's Brian, and as a customer of First National Bank of Middle Tennessee, let me tell you how they can show up for you. Whether I need help navigating a financial decision or just a question, I know I can pick up the phone and talk to someone who's right here in our community. In a world that's becoming more impersonal every day, it's good to know that First National Bank of Middle Tennessee is always there with real people who care.
First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. We show up for you.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 401715.
Dr. Russell McKissick of Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance talks about the grassroots effort in our local schools to ensure proper care for players.
To make sure our teams are covered here locally, be there for our trainers. Yeah, it's a passion that we have to try to take care of our athletes here in town and be there just to keep everybody playing as healthy and as best they can.
From a community standpoint, one of the most important things you do at TOA, I'd guess.
I think it's definitely a way to pay back to our community, just to be there for them and watch some great sports too.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, live your best life.
How about a fix for your sweet tooth? Donut Country is open 24 hours a day to cure your cravings. They've been serving up the freshest donuts in Murfreesboro since 1978. There's just something different about donuts from Donut Country. Bo and Cindy Davis and their wonderful staff will greet you with a smile, and you'll see all donuts aren't created equal. Fresh donuts anytime you want them, 24/7 at Donut Country on Memorial down from Clark. And they're open each morning on Middle Tennessee Boulevard. Check out their Facebook page for specials and promotions. Nothing else compares to Donut Country. Open 24 hours.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Craig's Tax Service, specializing in personal and business tax preparation, financials, and bookkeeping services. Find out more at CraigsTaxService.com. And we're back on the Coach's Show this morning, joined by head coach of the Laverne Wolverines, Chris Johnson. How you doing this morning, Coach?
Doing good. Thank you so much.
We really enjoyed coming out watching your guys compete last night. I know the result wasn't what you wanted, but it's always a big rivalry when you play Smyrna. It's second oldest rivalry in the county.
Yeah, it was a great atmosphere for our guys, and you know, I'm getting educated on the steep history of this game, and this was my first one, and you know, I felt like our guys came out and played hard, you know, the entire game, but especially the first half. But you know, it didn't go the way we wanted to, but we learned a lot.
Yeah, and it was really competitive the first half. You know, it was only 14-0 at the half, and you know, you came out, you had a couple of different quarterbacks play for you last night. Came out, Declan Hanlon started out freshman last night, and you had Drayton DeMoss, who I thought had a really good game for you last night. And Drayton is going to be our SRM Concrete Solid Performer, locally grown, nationally known SRM Concrete.
Yeah, both of those guys did well. You know, Deacon, he came in and, you know, he made some freshman mistakes, but he did some great things as well. And, you know, we're really excited about his upside and his future. You know, Drayton always plays hard. We ask a lot out of him. He played some running back last night. He also played quarterback. And, you know, he's one of those guys that since I've been here has been one of the heartbeats of the team. And so we're really proud of how he gave it his all last night.
Yeah, and you know, you're right in the game right there, and you had a big drive. I think you drove it over 85 yards down to their 3. And, you know, if you punch that one in, it's a different ballgame.
Well, this is one of the things we talk about as a coaching staff, you know, as we approach the offseason. This is one of the things we've got to get better at as a team is learning how to finish plays, finish blocks, you know, finish drives. You know, finishing is going to be one of our focus points because, you know, all over the field last night, we had opportunities, whether it be, you know, like punching it in from the 1. You know, dropped interceptions, missed tackles. Those are things that you look at. You know, we blitzed right into a play and 2 guys were there and just didn't make the play. Those are things we've got to really, as a team, get better at. We put them in position in many cases, and we just got to get better at finishing at the play. Yeah.
Yeah, and a couple of other kids I thought that stood out to me last night, Isaiah Thompson and Michael Trotter. Now, from the booth, I can't tell who's who. They look like kind of like brothers out there, but I thought that both of them gave you a good effort last night and did good things for you.
Let me tell you, Michael Trotter is one of those kids that we, you know, he's developing. He's a younger guy, but he's developing, and we had him at linebacker earlier in the season. Then he dropped down to D-line, and we found a place on offense for him at that running back, fullback position, and he has done a phenomenal job. He's one of those guys that he's a utility guy we can use in multiple different places. So we're really, really excited about Trotter. And let me tell you, Isaiah Thompson is a baller. I mean, on both sides of the ball. He's a kid that just shows up every day and does his job. He's still growing. He's got an upside. He comes up and he hits. He's one of our linebackers. Then we can use him in the backfield as well. So he's going to be a name. He's going to be a guy that we're going to be hearing a lot of great things about.
Yeah, and you can see the confidence he's getting as the year's going on. You know, another guy I thought that stood out to me last night was Denham Hill. Had a big catch down there and some other big plays. I also thought he brought some excitement to your team and really tried to get your guys going.
Yeah, Denham has, you know, we started to notice Denham in our freshman games. I mean, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, we've played a lot of freshmen this year because we've seen them play in a freshman game. Felt like they could help us, and Denham has big play capability. He's like I said, he's a freshman, and I mean, he's I would say one of our playmakers on the field, and so we're going to be hearing that name for years to come. Like I said, we had with him and Deacon, and I really, really like how these guys, the younger guys, are buying into the system and coming out there. They're being patient, and I couldn't say too much about DJ Hostin. number 10. He's
yes.
This guy. He caused the fumble. He was still out there, making plays, and he's a competitor. He's another guy that I really, really feel like is going to bloom, and we're going to hear a lot about. So we're excited about the youth that's coming in. I hated that the night went the way it did for our seniors. Wish it could have gone better for them. But the youth that we have coming up, these guys are competitive and they work hard, and we're gonna fix those problems in the offseason.
Yeah, and you can always tell rivalry game. You throw the records out. You could tell last night. I think we had some fourth down calls at midfield. People went for it. We had onside kick. We had some crazy things, and your defense really kept you in the game. I know there was a couple interceptions that you thought you could have had too, but they had a big turnover while Smyrna was driving, in the second quarter, and really kept it. You kept them off the board right there at the end of the half too, and 14-0 going into the half, and you were right there.
Yeah, defense did a great job. We had 3 turnovers last night. There's some tackles and things that I felt like we should have made on the long run. The running back there, number 9, he's kid's fast. He broke 3 tackles and hit the open field, and it was a track race at that. Those are the things that as a team, with it being our first year and the kids are still gelling, as a team, we're just not good enough not to leave those plays on the table. When you have an opportunity to make those plays, you got to make them. And so we didn't. And I think that became the difference. Although defense kept us in the game, we've got to do a little bit more. Those are the things that we've got to learn how to execute and finish.
Well, this upcoming week, you've got the Siegel Stars here to finish out the season, and another opportunity to grow and get kids some experience and finish on a positive note.
Yeah, last game of the season, and Siegel I think hung 30 points on Blackman.
Yeah,
and it's going to be another challenge for us. We've got to find a way to go out there and compete and be competitive at every position. And finish the season. So that's going to be our messaging to the kids all week, is just finish. When you have an opportunity to make a play, you have to make it. And that's what we're going to try to do, give our seniors something to be proud of, that they'll be remembered with a team that went out and fought every week.
Yeah, and you can tell that. You can tell your guys fought till the very end last night. And I wanted to talk a little bit about your staff. You got a really good staff, and I can see that kind of growing. It's going to really, jump you into next season. Aaron Pitts and, I know DeJuan Hicks, really great people, and really you have a really great staff that you're building with.
Yeah, and this is great. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about my staff. I really appreciate the hard work that those guys have put in. I really appreciate their dedication this year. It's not been one of those years where you want to come. We got the playoff capabilities and all of this, and so these coaches have shown up and just put in the work, and I want to really, really honor them. It's been a tough season for us, but they are committed to what we said we were going to start, and they're committed to seeing it through. So when I look at those guys and I see the hard work and dedication they put in, I'm very appreciative of them.
Yeah, really, really good people, and you're starting, pretty much over this year, and you can see the foundation. You got some young guys, like Deacon and Denham last night that you can really build on for the future.
Well, Deacon, Denham, you take a guy like Tyler Woods, who he's a safety, but he got hurt and couldn't play. Thomas Dixon, a running back, you're going to hear that name. This kid is good. I think about Justice Arnold, who's a D lineman, who's he's coming along, got some playing time last night. We've got some freshmen that are going to be pretty good. We have some sophomores, such as DJ Hostin, and IT is a junior. Isaiah Thompson is a junior, but he's going to come on and keep developing. So we've got some players, some young players that's going to come in and make a significant difference. And so our offseason is going to be important for us.
Yeah, and that's, that starts, I guess after Friday night's game, you're off season, and, how long are you going to try to give the guys a little bit off before y'all start back to that?
We'll give them a couple of weeks, and then it's back to it. That's just we've not had an off season with them, and I think that has been a major difference. And I also want to take this time to thank our parents, our cheerleaders, our band, all of the fans that traveled with us. We've only had, we're gonna have 3 away games. This was our second, and so and our administration, our teachers are through this tough season. We started this because it's about the kids, and that's our focus is. And we see the kids getting better. We see the program shifting and changing, and those are the things that we keep at the forefront. Is that we're here to make a difference, and I believe that the difference is being made. It's just taking a little time.
And you can see it, and Coach, we really have appreciated everything this year, and we wish you good luck in your last game against Siegel, and really going forward.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's Laverne head coach Chris Johnson. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Sir Pizza, whose 3 Murfreesboro locations offer a huge selection of mouth-watering pizzas, sandwiches, pasta, and wings. Order your favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
This is a paid legal ad.
At the law offices of John Day, we take only real cases that make a real difference.
The law offices of John Day took the burden really off of my shoulders.
So if you think you're going to get rich quick with a frivolous case, I'm not the lawyer for you.
I want you to know that I appreciate everything you have done so much. I know you went over and beyond.
If we're not able to help or aren't the right lawyer for you, we'll do the best to point you in the right direction. If you've been injured, call the law offices of John Day for a free consultation.
Hello, this is Coy Young at Las Casas Feed Supply. We'd like to welcome you to our door.
Whether you have a quarter acre or several, Las Casas Feed Supply has premium feeds and dog foods you can't find in box stores.
Nutrition is our specialty here at Las Casas Feed.
Plus, every Saturday morning they have a local producer-only farmers market with fresh vegetables, beef, pork, and more.
Customer service and expertise that exceeds your expectations.
Family owned and operated by Coy and Jennifer Young, Las Casas Feed Supply on Barlow Lane, just off Highway 96 East in Las Casas.
Is your saving for retirement strategy involving the phrase, "I'll get around to it someday"? If so, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Lee Colvin, and when it comes to meeting your goals, time can be on your side, and there's no better time than now to get started towards your retirement goals. Give us a call, Lee Colvin, at 615-907-7056. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
Are you tired of feeling like just another number with your insurance provider? At Rayburn Insurance Agency in Smyrna, Agent Rick Hall prides himself on offering personalized service that puts you first. Every client's needs are unique. From personal home and auto coverage to tailored business insurance, Rick Hall's got you covered. Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency in Smyrna, where you're more than just a policy number. You're a neighbor.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner. Fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019 100.5, 1450 WGNSsports.com and Big G TV.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by State Farm agents Andy Womack, Dana Womack, Celeste Middleton, Alex Williams, Ron Reeves, and Emerson Williams. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And we're back on the Coaches Show, joined by Oakland head coach Kevin Creasy. How you doing this morning, Coach?
Doing well.
All right, Oakland Patriots with a big 49-0 win over Stewart's Creek last night, and it was a good night for the Patriots last night.
Yeah, had senior night, had a bunch of parents and family of our seniors there. They got to watch a good ball game, and I thought our seniors performed well. I thought a lot of our seniors that people may not recognize as 4-year guys. They made some plays for us and made huge plays because, it was a pretty special night, getting recognized, getting their parents out there with them and stuff. It was pretty cool. And then, like I said, most of the plays last night were made by our seniors.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, and it looked like a lot of special teams plays last night. Craig Tudd had 2 punt returns for touchdowns, and then Marcus Earl had a punt block for a touchdown.
Yeah, Marquise, coming off an injury early in the year, he's back to playing DB for us, making great plays, and then, he just happened to catch that block punt on the run and goes in for a touchdown. Craig Tutt had 3 huge returns. One of them was called back for a holding call, but the other 2 weren't called back, and they were both touchdowns, and he just made some tremendous adjustments on the run, I guess you could say. You don't really coach yet. He kind of did all that on his own, but, I thought our punt block team put on some pressure, but then set up a beautiful wall, made some good blocks, and, give those guys a lot of credit. Marcus Bryson is our special teams coordinator. He does a great job every week, and had a couple special team touchdowns the week before. So that's something we've emphasized over fall break, and we're reaping the benefits of it now.
Yeah, that's big when you can get points on special teams. You had your 2 quarterbacks have done really good this year for you, and Dante Cameron last night had passed for 67 yards and a touchdown, and rushed for 25 and another touchdown. And you want to talk about your quarterbacks?
Yeah, the last couple of weeks, we haven't had many offensive snaps, but that's good, trying to keep everybody healthy. And those guys, whenever they are getting in, they're performing well. And, they're both competing against each other still. And both of them, really good dual threat guys, can run it, can throw it. And then, like I said, as long as they're competing with each other, it's good. So, like I said, the competition makes the world go round. And at the end of the day, we've got 2 quarterbacks that can go in and do whatever we ask them to do.
And you passed in the ball a little bit last night. You had 5 different receivers catch a ball. Joel Wyatt, Will Millsap, Reese Smith, Justice Haggard, and Matthew Moore all had receptions last night for you. And it just goes to show you, you got multiple ways you can do it on offense.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys out there that are great catching the ball, really dangerous whenever they get the ball in their hands. So, we try to find new and improved ways to kind of get the ball to them every week. But those guys, like I said, ever since we've been throwing 7-on-7 with them, they've shown that they can catch balls in traffic. They can catch the intermediate route, the short route, and all those guys can go deep and catch a ball. So with the arm talent we got, we like to throw it deep every now and then. And then whenever people back off of us, it gives us underneath stuff. So that's kind of what happened last night. And like I said, a lot of credit to the O-line. I thought the quarterbacks had plenty of time to throw it, and they protected them well. And then, of course, you still got to be able to catch it, and then what you do after you catch it, that's on you. And I thought they did a pretty good job last night.
They did. And, I think your hat this year has been on your defense. Another shutout for them last night. And, that side of the ball has really been elite all year. Heading into this big Battle of the Borough matchup this week with Riverdale. And, your defense, once again, another shutout.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Watson defense has come up big a lot of games this year, and he makes it tough on a 16-year-old kid out there playing quarterback, that's for sure. And with all the different things he's doing, he's got a lot of good players over there that are making big plays for us. And unfortunately, I thought if there's one thing we needed to improve on, I thought we dropped about three potential interceptions. We dropped 3 against Rockville, I thought, and ended up with 4. But still, I thought 7 would have been a whole lot better than 4. And then, of course, I think those kind of things, if you drop them, in these games, next week that would really be a tough pill to swallow if they hit you in the hands and you don't come down with it. I don't get that whole, I don't buy into that philosophy of, they can't catch us when they play defense. No, those guys, they can catch. They just got to focus on it, and they can turn a whole game around if they can just catch some of these balls that, should have been intercepted.
And sometimes your eyes get so big, you can see that end zone in front of you, and it just, falls out of your hands.
That's right.
But let's talk about the Battle of the Borough. Coming up this week. It's the longest rivalry in Rutherford County, and it's a game everybody circles every year on the calendar. This year it happens to be on a Thursday night, night before Halloween, and we expect, obviously you expect a monster crowd again Thursday night in the Battle of the Borough.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be about. Both teams battling it out, trying to get the region championship, and should be a huge crowd Thursday night. Doesn't interfere with Halloween. So the weather's turned great. It was perfect weather last night for a ball game. So we expect a huge crowd. Get there early, buy the tickets early, get you a good seat early, and should be a great ball game.
And, I should mention, too, I think with your win last night that, you're going to have a piece of the region championship no matter what, and I think you're probably going to end up going in this playoffs as the 1 seed. But, winning this Battle of the Borough and finishing it off the right way and setting yourself up for a playoff run, it's got to be on your minds, and you can't really look to the playoffs the week after that. It's all about Riverdale this week.
Yeah, there's a scenario where we'd finish second. It could happen. You look at the Blackman-Siegel score, if Blackman loses to Rockville and then we lose to Riverdale, then, we're a second seed. So we control our own destiny. We've always known that, and we've always been, kind of keeping up with ourselves, not keeping up with everybody else. We can't rely on anybody else to do whatever. We got to take care of our business, and our business is we need to finish undefeated. We need a 10-0 season. There's not been a lot of 10-0 seasons in Oakland history, no matter how much history we've had. There's always been a slip-up or two a lot of times. So our seniors realized that going 10-0 is something special. 15-0 is a heck of a lot better.
Yes.
But
yes.
10-0 is pretty tough to come by when you're in our region that we play in.
Yeah, it is. And, it's just there's not many perfect seasons, and you have a chance to do that this year. And one kid that, we've talked a little bit about, but I'd like to talk a little bit more about is Joel Wyatt. He's been a real good player for you this year, and, does it both ways, and just really been a really impact player for your program this year.
Yeah, heck of a player, great athlete, just can do it all. Stewart's Creek had a great athlete covering him last night, and I thought he held his own and did a good job, and then turned right back around on defense and made some tremendous plays, and very physical too. A lot of times you look at a guy that plays receiver, you think maybe he's not as physical as everybody else on the field, but Joel is just as physical as anybody we have, and he's a physical blocker, and he's a very physical tackler. And people going over the middle have watched film on him. They know that. So a lot of times they're not looking at the football either. They're looking to find out where Joel is, and that's one of those things where he's an impact player. He may not have the interception or the big hit on that particular play, but he may be responsible for those guys dropping the ball, because there's some quarterbacks that are throwing the ball over the middle that maybe should think twice about it.
Yeah, and he's just a special kid too.
Yeah, no doubt. Great kid, comes to work every day, great attitude, harder on himself than any of us coaches could ever be on him. So with that kind of attitude, I mean, he's got a lot of potential, and the sky's the limit for him.
And, we're approaching Halloween, almost playoff time for football. And as you get ready for that, obviously you're focused on Riverdale and wanting to finish that undefeated regular season. But how do you feel your team's ready for when you do get to that playoff run? And you think y'all are battle tested? You played a tough schedule. You feel pretty good about where your team is right now?
Yeah, for the most part, week 10 of the season, we're about as healthy as you can be. We still got some bumps and bruises, looking for Mike Brown to come back and play this week. And, if he's back, then, we're back to 100%. Ultimately, that's what you want. You want some momentum because you want to play clean and you want to, play with a win right there at the end of the season and get momentum going in the playoffs. But the most important thing is probably being healthy. And that's the worst part about playing Riverdale is, it's a very physical game every year. And they go into the playoffs and we go into the playoffs where we just had, 48 minutes of a real physical football game. And, unfortunately, I think TSSAA kind of set it up that way. I like the random draw, and if it draws out where it's week 10, then it's just meant to be. Yeah. But ultimately, you can't really be factoring in who you think is going to be playing for a region championship. At the end of the day, that can change real quickly, and just so happens that, this year Blackman beat Riverdale. So, things can change real quick. But ultimately, I think it's really good for the fans. I think it's pretty neat that we're playing week 10 with, everything on the line. And then that kind of gets you a playoff type atmosphere. Hopefully both student sections, come to the ball game and get loud. And then, of course, our fan bases, we want those guys, in the seats early. And like I said, playoffs pretty much start this week.
Yeah, it's right here. I mean, the best time of the year. Fall weather last night, you can kind of feel it. And it may get you excited.
Yep, no doubt.
All right, Coach, we appreciate it, and good luck this week.
Appreciate it.
All right, the Coaches Show is brought to you by Ideas Tees, who will be happy to help you fulfill all of your imprinted apparel, embroidery, and advertising specialty needs. Find out more at ideastees.com.
Head over to J. Mullins Jewelry to check out their selection of rings, watches, custom design jewelry, and much more. They're a local business located at 352 West Northville Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro. They have gifts for all occasions, weddings, graduations, anniversaries, whatever you need, you can find it at J. Mullins Jewelry. That's at 352 West Northville Boulevard or online at mullinsjewelry.com.
Craig's Tax Service.
We perform tax preparation, individual tax returns, corporations, partnerships, and all your payroll bookkeeping needs.
Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service.
Craig's Tax Service is located just off Memorial on Heritage Park Drive. You can contact us at 890-2233.
It makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We are proud to support all Rutherford County student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna, we're committed to providing local car owners with top-notch auto repair services. With over 2 decades of experience, our ASC certified master technicians are experts in both foreign and domestic vehicles, ensuring accurate diagnosis and timely, cost-effective repairs. From oil changes to major engine and transmission repairs, we've got the cure for your car. Dr. Automotive, keeping your car running smoothly, mile after mile. Visit our website, smyrnaautorepair.com.
The frustration many are feeling is real and justified. Kenneth Barrett said that after the county commission denied raises for deputies this year, and as sheriff, fair pay will be a top priority.
We need to figure out how we can get ours comparable to other agencies and start communication with the county commission to try to get less steps at a higher percentage.
With nearly 30 years at the sheriff's office, Barrett brings servant leadership, accountability, transparency, and fairness. Learn more at KennethBarrettForSheriff.com.
Paid for by Kenneth Barrett for Sheriff, J.M. Stewart Treasurer.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Auctions are easy, fast, and profitable.
I've always been a big fan of auctions. Get instant sale, no contingencies.
That means the sale of your property won't depend on an inspection, financing, or appraisals.
I've known the guys over there my entire life.
Call Parks Auction and Realty or visit parksauction.com.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Parks Auction Company, committed to auction excellence.
Sold it to you, 27 and a half.
You've heard people say, you know your work by your name.
But there's no better name for residential and business concrete work than Dan France Concrete. From basic slabs to decorative stamping, for your next concrete project, call Dan France Concrete, 615-642-5152.
This is Dan with Dan France Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Trust me, Dan is committed to the community and will offer you a great product. He'll stand behind his work and make sure you're satisfied with every aspect of the work. Dan France Concrete.
At Middle Tennessee Electric, we see the lines that link us all, illuminating our neighborhoods, empowering our businesses, and helping us to recharge. Because we believe in the power of good energy. Whether it comes from our grids, the sun, or a kind heart. And as your family and our region continue to grow, you can trust that we'll always be there for you. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com and Big G TV.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by Dan France Concrete, a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. That's Dan France Concrete. And welcome back to the show. We welcome in Stewart's Creek head coach Ben Caudell. How you doing this morning, Coach?
Good morning.
All right, tough one last night. Suffered a 49-0 loss to Oakland. But it's always a chance to go out there when you get to play somebody like Oakland and your kids get to compete.
Yeah, you getting to go up against what's been the standard for a long time, and certainly since Coach Creasy's been there, and they are just really well put together in all three phases, and you always learn a lot about your team. You learn a lot about how to do things better and more efficiently when you go up against the best like them.
Yeah, and we know you've had some tough injuries this year, and the ones that you've had, battled their hearts out last night.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with some guys, especially Braden Brown, who really has been forced kind of into a spot for us the last few weeks where he really can't come off the field, and I've been. I remember breaking my collarbone at Greer Stadium when we were playing Father Ryan in high school, and having your dreams crushed, and that's part of football.
Yep.
It's a physical game, and Oakland had some guys that they weren't able to put out there as well, and so there's opportunities there for other guys to step up, and we've got some guys that have done a great job, these last few weeks, kind of being put into a position where they got to rise up.
And, another couple other guys that stepped up for you last night, R.C. Davis, 11 of 18, 64 yards, quarterback. And Landon Wharf also had a forced fumble and a fumble recovery and 3 tackles last night. And those two guys are going to be our SRM Solid Performer, locally grown, nationally known SRM Concrete Athletes of the Week. Now, RC has grown as the year has gone on, and just another night of pretty efficient throwing the football.
Yeah, he made some good decisions, especially on third down at times. There were some times we struggled to get lined up around him, and we got some different faces around him here in recent weeks where I think it's put a little bit more on him to get them in the right position, and we've tried to simplify things to help with that. But certainly for him, as a junior, this year it's been good to get him experience. I think the game is slowly starting to slow down for him, and obviously he's played against some really good defenses. Certainly last night was as well, but he definitely had some bright spots for us last night.
And Landon, Landon had a forced fumble and a fumble recovery last night, and I've been impressed with your defense all year. That defense has been solid. They've been trying to been workhorses for you. Last night you gave up 3 special team scores last night, but overall your defense has been pretty solid.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that was frustrating about last night is in the first quarter. We our first punt it rolled about 10 yards, and our guys actually were trying to recover it because they thought it had hit one of Oakland's players. And, we lost, our contain lanes on that in that confusion. And we also had, a great opportunity right when number one, Craig Tutt fielded the ball, to get him down on about the 25-yard line. And, I don't care if a kid's going to Ole Miss or if he's, going to, UTC as a student, or whatever. We had a chance to get him down before he'd even moved his feet and didn't. And then our next punt, it basically hit our punter in the chest, and they blocked it. And so bottom line is, I think our defense, we were down 28-0 there in the first quarter, and they had only allowed 7 of them. And so that's one thing we told our guys, leading into the week is these guys, that were playing, Oakland, they are not above. Their stars are not above playing on special teams. And certainly last night showed us how much our punt team matters. And I tell you, we have worked our punt unit this year more than we ever have. And so that was, to me, I was discouraged by that. And certainly there's some things that, I need to be involved in, making sure that doesn't happen again, which I will. But you got to give Oakland credit. I think, just getting ready for them. You watch them play Blackman, and I don't know how many teams Blackman has had that have been 8-1 in school history, but this is certainly one of the best teams Blackman has ever had. And you get ready for that game, and Blackman gets 3 or 4 first downs against Oakland. One of my kids' baseball coaches grew up in West Virginia, and he's talking about this team that Oakland played and how good they are out in West Virginia. Well, that team's, lost 49-0, and as of last week was 6-1, with their only loss being to Oakland. And, you just go on down the line, and they do have a lot of talent. But I'm just telling you, on defense, they fly around and play. They are easily – of all the teams I've watched on film this year, they play the hardest on defense. They fly to the ball. Last night we had a turnover that we got, in the fourth quarter, and they put all their starters back out there, and you can tell how much it means to them to, prevent us from scoring, and keep their kind of scoreless streak alive. And however many points they're allowing, 4 or 5 a game, which is just unheard of. And I tell you, their offensive line and the guys that you don't read about a whole lot, I mean, it's like watching them on film, and it's like it's the highest honor of their life to block their tails off for those guys and protect the quarterback. And so, they play their guts out, and that's one thing that certainly has allowed them to, really be the barometer, not just in 6A, but throughout all classifications in Tennessee.
Yeah, and you talked about a little bit about pride, and let's fast forward to next week where you're going to go in, you're going to play Smyrna, and this is a rivalry game. It's one every year that Stewart's Creek and Smyrna circle on their calendar. It's a Thursday night game, and you have a chance to prevent Smyrna from getting to the playoffs. And I know that's going to be a big deal for your guys next week coming out and bringing it.
Yeah, it's I guess it's been since 2020 2019, I believe, that we finished the season against Smyrna, because we've played them at different points in times the last 4 or 5 years. And, it's definitely a huge ball game. It's the next ball game for us. It's on the road. It's there. With all the rezoning, they definitely, benefited from – a few players on our roster that weren't able to stay at Stewart's Creek, so it's always, a big one. We got to turn the page fast because it's on Thursday night, that's always a challenge. They've done a great job kind of retooling some pieces, especially at, quarterback and a few other spots. Throughout the year. As always, it's going to be, a game where, all 3 phases really matter. Every year there's, kind of big plays that you can look back on especially on defense and special teams. And so those are the things that, we've got to, always be focused on when we go up against Smyrna.
Yeah, and, being on a Thursday night, it's a little less preparation time. Do you kind of like that going into that game, or would you have rather had it on Friday night? I know that would have been Halloween. How do you feel about the Thursday night game this week?
Yeah, we've actually played 2 games already. This is going to be our third on Thursday night, as I'm sure most everybody in the county, I think, has already played on Thursday. So we're kind of used to our routine when we do have to play on Thursdays. It does, speed a whole lot of things up. But this is, kind of our year to do that, the last week of the season due to officiating and whatnot. But yeah, it's something that certainly all of us around here, have got to deal with this week, playing on Thursday, and, going to be a tremendous opportunity for our team to finish, to display toughness, handling adversity on a short week. And so those are going to be some of the things that we, not just need to emphasize, but that we need to take heart to. The leaders on our team, need to, take ownership of that this week. And, that's going to be the challenge for them. And, I'm excited to see, how they handle that and as we turn the page and get ready for Smyrna.
And, that's always the thing, last game of the year and all that. You have a lot of young guys that have played for you this year, and, ending on a good note and that kind of stuff. What's your message to those guys? As, obviously your seniors want to go out on a high, but the guys that are coming back, setting the foundation for next season and how that team is going to, how we're going to expect things to be. What do you kind of tell your young guys?
Yeah, I unfortunately, I told them last night, this is the first time in my career that, I'm able to say going into, the 10th game that it's going to be our last game. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that, I've got a whole lot of experience with that, because I don't, nor do most, if not all, of our coaches. And so this is an opportunity for us to dig deep, and have some pride about us. And to me, I'm a big believer in, if you're going to basketball next or wrestling next or whatever, if it's an off-season job that you have, how you finish is going to be how you start whatever is next in your life. And so that's, I think that's a message that's been on my heart, probably the last, I guess, however many hours since the game finished, 9-10 hours. Like you said, for several of our guys, next season's already started. We really are going to be able to return probably about 9-10 guys on offense, which is huge. To get all these guys so much experience, all of our ball carriers, our tight ends, our the guys that catch it for us are all coming back. Quarterback, obviously, got some great linemen coming back, this is an opportunity for them to, go on the road, and experience a rivalry game on the road as a young guy, and also for our seniors to, to dig deep and to strive to, finish what's been a great career for all of them, and so much they've accomplished. And to me, I think this is one of those weeks where, Smyrna poses plenty of challenges, but this is kind of a, look in the mirror type week, I think, for us.
Well, we appreciate it, Coach, and good luck, and good luck next week, and off season. We'll see you next time.
Yes,
That's
sir.
Coach Ben Caudell of Stewart's Creek. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Rick's Barbecue, serving up the best smoked barbecue ribs and many local favorites on Warrior Drive. Locally operated by Anne Marie Brents and the Lanning family.
Raider Tees isn't just about t-shirts. We've got jackets, scarves, polos, hats, even jewelry and home decor. Everything to show off your Middle Tennessee Blue Raider pride. Whether you're headed to the game or just want to represent the Blue Raiders every day, we've got you covered. Literally. Come check out our exclusive designs and unbeatable selection at 111 East MTCS Road, right across from MTCS. Raider Tees, bigger, better, and go blue.
Pizza, pizza.
You in a hurry for dinner? Well, we've made it even easier to order online at sirpizzatn.com. Tap the location nearest you and begin your carryout or delivery order at sirpizzatn.com. You can choose from our full menu, and we'll take care of the rest. A Queen's Feast is calling my name. Order Murfreesboro's favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com.
Sir Pizza, you made me love pizza again.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
If your old unit needs a tune-up, the professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air service all major brands and even offer same-day service in most cases. Keep your home or business comfortable year-round. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Ring Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass. Online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
Craig's Tax Service.
We perform tax preparation, individual tax returns, corporations, partnerships, and all your payroll bookkeeping needs.
Brandon Craig with Craig's Tax Service.
We fulfill all your tax preparation needs from individual returns to corporations and handle any of those scary letters you may get from the IRS.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We're proud to support all Rutherford County athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by the law offices of John Day, providing superior legal representation to injury victims and their families. Find out more at johndaylegal.com. And welcome back to the show. And now we welcome in Rockville head coach James Counts. How are you doing this morning, Coach?
Doing good. Good morning.
It was a real hard-fought game last night, rivalry game with the Riverdale Warriors, and it fell just a little bit short, 28-14, but a really good contest last night.
Yeah, it was a great game, great atmosphere, and you know, his kids and coaches did a great job. You know, played them down, you know, to the end there, and they just made one more play than we did. But you know, I'm proud of the kids. You know, just wanted to get a win like that for these young men that have you know, bought in and doing the things that we're asking them to do, and just wanted them to get the win so bad. But anyway, we're making strides and you know, getting better each week, and just got to keep working.
Yeah, and it's you can. I mean, I think you're one of the most improved teams as we've started this season all the way through till now. And you know, you're going into week 10, and you control your own destiny. You have a chance to be in the playoffs, and you just have to go out there and win a game next Friday night.
Yeah, you know that's easier said than done sometimes, but you know, we can you know, if we go win next Friday, yeah, we can get in and you know, and that's going to be our game plan, you know, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to get started and you know, and put the best plan together, and hopefully that you know, we've talked about it all year about playing a complete game, and last night was very close. You know, a couple moments in the first half, and then a couple in the second half, but a lot better. And then, you know, and that's what we'll continue to do. We're going to go to work and give these young men everything we got as coaches, and put the best plan together that we can come up with, and go play the game. You know, that's why we go play.
And that's what you asked for. You know, last night the weather turned a little bit cool, and it's football weather. You know, it's football playoff weather right here. Now, I know this last night
was great.
It was, wasn't it, Coach?
Oh, it was beautiful. Beautiful Friday night.
And I was going to ask you, you know, it was your first taste of the Rockville-Riverdale rivalry game, and you talked about how great the atmosphere was, and, you know, I've been able to experience that 4 or 5 times myself. It's always a great atmosphere, and I know it was another one last night, and I know the Rockville Rocket fans were out there last night.
Oh, we had a full, you know, stadium was full. Riverdale brought a great fan you know, the band and student section, and you know, and then we had senior night on top of that. So, probably had some parents with and grandparents that may not come every game, but we had a great atmosphere, and it's been like that all year. And they've done a great job. Kids are excited about what's going on and want to come to the games, and we had another good one, and the atmosphere I felt like every week playing in this league up here, and it's exciting each week. And that's fun. That's fun for the kids, fun for us coaches to be able to that's what you want, and it just makes it fun for the kids, and that's what it's all about.
It really is. And talk a little about some of your guys from last night. Quarterback Jonathan Hamby, another good solid game for him last night, and he's really developed as the season's gone on for you, and really been a good leader for you.
He has. I'm sure there was a couple plays last night he'd like to have back, and that's just the card that we're dealt. But he's a competitor. His teammates trust him. He leads us each week, and he's getting a little more healthy now, and we can get where he can move around, and he had a great game. Dallas Paldo had a great game. Melvin Boone had three sacks. Also ran the football, and Judd Bingham and Rylan Hodges and RC and all those guys had played a great game, and proud for them, and I just want it for the kids so bad, that they've worked hard, and I just want them to get paid, but they're competitors.
Yeah, they really are, and we're going to make Dallas Paldo, Jonathan Hamby, and Melvin Boone our SRM Concrete Solid Performers, locally grown, nationally known SRM Concrete. And I want to get into one of the guys you mentioned just a minute ago, Dallas Paldo, who I've seen grow up over the years, and I'm really, really proud of him as a person, and had 7 catches for you last night and a sack, and I know he's just been a solid player for you this year.
He has. He's a very versatile guy. He's big enough to play inside, but he's also athletic enough to be able to be out. He got super great hands, and he's a big body guy. I mean, he just makes catches that, it's just like wow. He's just one of those kind of guys. He's a gamer. And he plays extremely hard, and and he got a high ceiling, and I think that he, I don't know where he'll land, but I know he's a good defensive lineman, and he's also a very good tight end. So, but Paldo he's playing great.
Yeah, I'm really proud of the kid. He's really done great for you this year. And you mentioned Melvin Boone, another kid that. Has been a big piece for you this year. You talked about the 3 sacks and also had a touchdown run last night. And another piece that you've been building your program around.
Yeah, he got an offer the other day from Carson Newman, and Melvin is a kid, that works extremely hard. And I mean, like when we go to practice, he runs to the field. He's just a guy that. That he works so hard and does things the right way that you want him to see success so bad, and I'm telling you, he's a strong kid. Whoever gets this young man to come play at their college, their football team will be better just because he walked in the door. And he is a super young man. And he plays hard as you look at it, there are people holding him. They got 2 people on him, and he still gets back there. And just like on that fumble, he was in, and of course the guy was 15 yards, 20 yards in front of him, but he freaking sprinted and gave everything he had. There wasn't no question that he just couldn't catch him. But no, he's a super super competitor, and he embodies everything that our standards of our program, and that's Melvin, and he's a superstar.
He really is, and really proud for the kid. And let's talk about what you got coming up this week, Coach. And another big rivalry game, Rockville and Blackman. Another great atmosphere that you're going to have at your place on Thursday night. A little bit different playing on Thursday. And honestly, you get into Week 10, everything on the line in your place. You really couldn't have asked for anything more going into the season.
Just want a chance, and we've got that. It's actually at Blackman.
Okay.
So we'll be over there, and it's a short week. A lot of things to get ready. In a short week, it kind of bumps everything up. But we're gonna get us a game plan. They're a very talented ball club. And big up front and receivers and DBs and good on the back end and all those things. So we're going to continue to get better, work on us, and put us a game plan together and go over there and give them everything we got, and just kind of see where we end up. But that's all we were asking. We just want a chance and have ourselves in a situation, and wish we'd took a little better care of it earlier on. But anyway, that's the card we got, and that's what we're going to play with.
Yeah, Coach, I was just going to ask you, you've been now got one more game to go, and, how do you compare this region to where you were at Henry County in the past? And, I mean, they've called this region the SEC of high school football for a reason. Every night's a battle. But, almost now through the first year, how would you compare it to what you've been through?
I would, what I would say about it compared to what I'm used to is the consistency from top to bottom is what I would say is a difference in a lot of different in other regions. The level of competition week in and week out. The region that I was in, we had your upper tier of teams, and then you would have, your drop off. And so the consistency of, competitive play by everybody, I think, is a big thing. Of course, you good 5A that can compete with 6A. The thing is, can they compete with 6A week in, week out? I played 6A schools when I was at Henry County, but it wasn't week in, week out. So, to have the longevity, to work through the injuries, to have the depth, to do all those kind of things, that's what makes it difficult. The speed of the game is faster, and you consistently have to play at that speed. So, I think, the level of competition from the first team ranked number one in the region to the last team, I think there's the consistency there would be the difference in a lot of other regions.
Well, I appreciate it, Coach, and good luck next week. And we really wish you good luck the rest of the way.
Well, we appreciate you guys, and we've gotten better, and I hadn't been here but since January, and people are talking about how we've come a long way, and can tell, and I just gonna try to pour everything into these kids that we got and finish this up and see what we got. So we appreciate you guys.
All right, Coach. Good luck. That was Rockville head coach James Counts. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, the largest and most comprehensive orthopedic surgery group in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at TOA.com.
Since 1989, Franklin's Printworks has been Rutherford County's trusted print partner, delivering high-quality, fast turnaround printing for businesses, organizations, and individuals.
Letterhead, envelopes, business cards, brochures, booklets, all that is still our bread and butter. We do it every day.
Jeff Carlton with Franklin's Printworks.
The needs have evolved for most businesses, and they're looking for a large format capability, or they're looking for a direct mail capability. We're glad to help with those.
Franklin's Printworks, your local printing experts.
Winners Trophies can help you with customized awards for any occasion. Owner Kelly Hockenberry continues to provide awards for sports teams, churches, recognition awards, and more. Call Winners Trophies at 904-6002. That's 904-6002 for the best in quality, service, and pricing. You can also email Kelly, winnerstrophy@comcast.net. That's winnerstrophy@comcast.net. Any award for any occasion. Winners Trophies, 904-6002.
We're at Rick's Barbecue on Warrior Drive, talking with Anne Marie Brents.
When people walk in and they're like, tell me what's good, I usually tell them the loaded baked potato, which is a fully loaded potato with the butter, sour cream, cheese, bacon, and chives, and then we put meat on top of it.
At Rick's, they use the largest potatoes you can find.
Every Tuesday we run a special on the loaded potatoes. We call it Tater Tuesday, and we sell a lot of potatoes.
Barbecue, smoked chicken, ribs, they've got it all at Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive, and online at ricksbbq.com.
Each team knows which play can be the winning move. I'm good neighbor State Farm agent Celeste Middleton, and I'd love the opportunity to talk to you about combining your home and auto insurance. Call me at 615-895-2700, and I can save you time and money.
It's not just a home or a car. I'm State Farm agent Dana Womack. We see your home and car as the time and memories you put into them. Give me a call at 615-900-0877 and let me help you give them the protection they deserve.
Here's Dave Gober with First Mortgage, a department of First National Bank of Middle Tennessee.
Just like under the Friday Night Lights, winning takes teamwork. And when it comes to buying a home, I'm here to be on your team. From first downs to first homes, I'll help you move the ball forward and the loan options that fit your life. At First Mortgage, you're more than just a loan, you're family. So let's take the field together and open the door to your future home. Call me today, Dave Gober.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, NLMS 401715.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in treating local athletes here in Rutherford County. Experts in joint, bones, and muscles. And with over 65 specialists, TOA has a playbook to get you back in the game. To request an appointment, visit TOA.com or call 855-NEED-TOA. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life.
How about a fix for your sweet tooth? Donut Country is open 24 hours a day to cure your cravings. They've been serving up the freshest donuts in Murfreesboro since 1978. There's just something different about donuts from Donut Country. Bo and Cindy Davis and their wonderful staff will greet you with a smile, and you'll see all donuts aren't created equal. Fresh donuts anytime you want them 24/7 at Donut Country on Memorial down from Clark. And they're open each morning on Middle Tennessee Boulevard. Check out their Facebook page for specials and promotions. Nothing else compares to Donut Country. Open 24 hours.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 1019 100.5, 1450 WGNSsports.com and Big G TV.
We're back on the Coach's Show, and this segment brought to you by Dr. Automotive, the cure for your car, professional auto repair and maintenance from ASE certified mechanics and master mechanics. Check them out online at autorepairsmyrna.com. Talking Seagull football this morning. The head coach, Adam Renshaw, is here. And, Coach, good morning. You had a fun one at your place last night. I know it would have been funner, to come out on the other side of that with another 6 points. But, that is a great high school football game that happened last night.
Yeah, it was. Really proud of our boys. Hadn't played very well offensively last several weeks, and we had to make some changes this week, and they accepted it really well. And we also challenged them on the practice field, and I tell you that's a dangerous thing this time of year with coaches. Kids can choose to pack it in. and say, hey, we're just going to ride this thing out and get to the end. But, man, this crew didn't do that. They're not doing that. And got a great group of seniors. We're going to miss them, but they did a tremendous job last night.
We were keeping up with the scores during our broadcast game last night, and every time something would come in, and that something came in from your assistant principal, Trey Andrus, keeps us updated on that. And, we were passing along, talking about it, and, just, this time of the year, that's what you want to see. And you've already touched on it. Your kids could have reacted one way. I mean, it's Blackman. They're coming in, one loss, et cetera, but that's not what happened.
No. And, it's, told the kids in practice we need to execute better. The kids have been playing hard but sloppy last several weeks offensively. We told them, before the football game, keep playing hard, and play together. There's been times that this year where we hadn't necessarily played together. I think it's just frustration from lack of execution, and we challenged them to execute. And I just I think we had a group of players that kind of came together last night and chose to believe, and that bled into several other players believing. And when Bryson Green made the interception in the second half there, and then we got the touchdown, things got electric there.
Pick it up kind of close to the end of the first quarter. The interception returns are always kind of an electric play, aren't they?
Yeah.
And this is one of those seniors you're talking about with Drew. He's one of those that kind of changes a program.
Yeah, Bryson has been amazing. He's been in our program. He has an amazing personality. He's one of those kids that he inspires me. He makes my day better, and just a tremendous personality. He's really close friends with outside linebacker Demario Herron on my team. My joke the last few years is those guys compete for Mr. SHS, and just great personalities, great people, and they're going to do tremendous things with their lives.
Into the first quarter. First quarter saw a lot of action. There was block punt for a touchdown, a long touchdown pass. There was a 95-yard kickoff or 90-yard kickoff return for Drew Hostetler.
I tell you, they kicked off 4 times and we kicked off 2 in the first quarter. And so 6 total kickoffs in the first quarter. That's
wild.
Yeah, and then one of honestly. Drew Hostetler's kickoff returns, one of the most electric plays I've seen since I've been at Siegel. Just a tremendous return. It's physical return. He hits it up in there, breaks some tackles. He pops free, and Drew has tremendous speed. And when he got out in the open, he had the kicker to beat, and he didn't try to outrun him. He ran over him and scored a touchdown. It was again one of the coolest plays I've seen. Just as a high school coach.
Yeah. Is that how you teach it on returns like that?
Oh yeah, we work on that every day. Yeah. Coach Mallory was really excited, and Drew was one of those seniors I was talking about that really they took this game personally. And you
that
could
fireball
see it in
just
the previous
scorched the
kickoff
ground.
return. He got
How will
another
you
kickoff
dodge and
return
counterattack? Any
I
sneaky
think
plans like in
it was
dark
physical.
souls?
He ended up in there for got it to the 30-yard line, and but he broke several tackles and finished physically, and you could see it in Drew's effort in the previous kickoff return.
Yeah. But so the idea is don't try to outrun him, run over him. Okay, so I got it.
I guess, yeah. I guess, no doubt.
Second quarter, it was just like a slugfest. You're trading scores back and forth. I think quarterback Quentin Carson found Zeltner on a touchdown pass and go down 24-17 at halftime.
Yeah.
I'm sure you had a lot to say at halftime, or do you have a lot to say at halftime?
Well, our point at halftime was this: we felt like 17 points were attributed to our mistakes. We said we want to go out in the second half and We want to eliminate the mistakes and keep playing. One of the things that's been plaguing us is offensive execution, and we felt like we executed offensively at a much higher rate last night. I guess the difference was, those big mistakes are really what killed us in last night's ball game. But Quentin Carson did a tremendous job. Talk about making some electric plays. Quentin made some electric plays. He did it with his feet. You were talking about the touchdown pass to Zeltner. That was big for Zeltner last night. And Zeltner makes another big catch later on in the game. Q gave us another element last night. And I think that created a lot of confidence on the guys on the field, and I think you can feel it on the sideline as well.
Yeah, Quentin Carson last night, our SRM Concrete solid performer, 2 touchdown runs, touchdown pass last night for you guys as well. You're down, 10, I believe it was, after 3 quarters, and it was Carson's run, I believe, of almost 20 yards that got it to, a 3-score game, I think, 3-point game.
Yeah, and we're right there at the end, and we thought, man, we got a shot here, the coaches, the players, everybody on the sideline felt it like we're about to win this football game, and so that confidence, that belief, it's at times, honestly, it's probably what's been missing in our program, and so it was good to have that. We wanted to finish that. We wanted to get that win. It would have been a big win for our program, but I do think we can take a lot of confidence from that football game. Offensive line played tremendously well last night, I thought. We made some big plays defensively. I know it looks like the score looks like there's a lot of points given up, but some of that was some big plays, and then we got a pump block and some things like that. But I mean, again, just really proud of our kids.
Adam Renshaw with us this morning as we talk Seagull football. That score with about 6 minutes to play meant Blackman was going to get the football, and you needed to get a stop and get the football back. And you kept them out of the end zone.
Yeah, we did. To win the ball game, though, we needed to make a stop earlier, and
just didn't have enough time, really, maybe.
Yeah, well, and credit Blackman. Their offensive line's really big, and they got a running back that finishes runs. And I mean, look, I feel like they're one of the best football teams in Tennessee. They beat a really good Riverdale team, hate to come up short. But on the other hand, you could point to that drive in trying to make the win at the end. You could also point to any other number of plays during the football game where a mistake was made here or something happened, and there were a lot of those moments. It's kind of the classic example of you play 150 plays in a ball game, and about 10 or 12 of them decide it.
Yeah. He had only just a touch over a minute or so left when you got the football back. A stop on the earlier series and got the football another minute and a half, or you just don't know what happens in that situation. But, this is such a building block, I would think, because you go toe to toe with one of the state's best, and, you really put yourself right there, and that's what you're wanting to see as you're continuing to build this program.
Yes, sir. And I thought, Quentin Carson, I thought he stepped up last night and obviously made some tremendous plays, but also kind of think, he's a junior, and I think he did a tremendous job just all week long of preparing himself for this. He has a little bit of with it factor that he can make a play, and so it was good to see that and give us something to build on for the future.
Well, you've been in the conversation here. Just about everybody in the whole region has been in the conversation for, playoffs and things of that nature. But the further you go into the season, the less likely this, that, and the other. So I don't even know what that picture is. But what's your message this week for your guys as you get to have at least one more home game with Laverne coming in?
Oh, well, it's, senior night, Thursday night. I know this. Laverne is getting better. Had a chance to watch a little bit of film, and so they're going to come in and they're going to be super motivated. They're going to give us everything they got, and so we got a 1-game season. We got to go out and respect all the work that these seniors have put in, and not back up one step from the work we're going to put in this week to get ready for this football game.
Well, we saw them, last night when they played Smyrna. They've got a couple of big kids that are not afraid to hit you.
Yeah, no doubt. And
but you're used to that. I memean, that's every Friday night.
Yeah, that's kind of this. This region. But the physical nature of this region and this football, like, you're not going to get away from that every week. And this time of year, week 10, everybody's got kids that are beat up. We got a safety, Nathaniel Hand, and I mean, he's fighting like crazy with everything he's got. And he leaves the training room last night, and he, there's not a part of his upper body that ain't got tape on it. So it's just that time of year.
Yeah. Well, Coach, good luck against the Wolverines Thursday night. I think I maybe even said Friday night. It's hard to think about that, that difference. But playing on Thursday night, the last home game of the regular season, and hopefully a lot of folks will be there, and a big night to give this senior group of yours a good send-off.
Yeah, and one kid I didn't bring up earlier, Braylon Albee, he's got a shot to end with a special season this deal. He had a big night with 120 yards Friday night. So Bryce, some of these other seniors, we want them to have a big night.
Yeah. Well, come out, support the Siegel Stars at Ken Nolan Stadium, taking on Laverne on Thursday night. So you get to do your trick-or-treating the next night and get to see some football the night before. Coach Renshaw, thank you. Appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Coach Renshaw on the Coach's Show, brought to you by Middle Tennessee Electric, serving our community, providing affordable, reliable, and safe electricity. Online at mte.com.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
This is a paid legal ad.
When a family member is lost as a result of someone else's negligence, the grief can be unbearable. It also leaves you with a lot of questions like, how did this happen? Who's responsible? And is my family going to be okay? That's a lot to go through, but with the law offices of John Day on your side, you don't have to go through any of it alone. We understand what you're going through, and we have the experience to get the answers, justice, and compensation your family deserves. Call the law offices of John Day.
Hello, this is Coy Young at Las Casas Feed Supply. We'd like to welcome you to our door.
If you're a homeowner with a quarter acre or several, Las Casas Feed Supply focuses on premium feeds and dog foods you won't find in the box stores.
Nutrition is our specialty here at Las Casas Feed.
Family owned and operated by Coy and Jennifer Young, inviting you to stop by, visit, and enjoy the country.
Customer service expertise that exceeds your expectations.
Las Casas Feed is also your place for local milk from the MTSU Dairy on Barlow Lane, just off Highway 96 East in Las Casas.
Hi, I'm Lee Colvin, your Edward Jones financial advisor. And while you've heard the saying, slow and steady wins the race, that same concept can be applied to long-term investing. Investing a little bit at a time on a regular basis can really add up. We call this systematic investing, and though it doesn't guarantee a profit or prevent a loss, it's a way to take advantage of market volatility instead of enduring it. Give me a call, Lee Colvin, at 615-907-7056. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, WGNSsports.com, and Big G TV.
Back on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, and this segment brought to you by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, the largest, most comprehensive orthopedic surgery group in Middle Tennessee. Find out more at TOA.com. Talking Eagleville football this morning. The Eagles 32-0 winners over Zion Christian last night. Floyd Walker, good morning, sir.
Good morning, brother. Appreciate you having us on this morning.
You bet. Glad to have you here. Zion Christian, where do they play?
They're in Columbia. They've got their own facilities, and they've got some nice facilities on their campus too. So it's a private school over in Columbia. I don't know what their school enrollment is, but it's not a bad trip for us. It's not a bad trip for our fans. So, and I think our kids enjoyed playing over there last night.
I've seen them play MTCS and other sports and PCA. They're not in that league, though, I don't think.
I'm not sure which league they fall under, but they do have a lot of quality teams over there other than football. So,
well, the first half, I think what was it? Ugly. I think that's what I saw.
But let's talk about the most important thing is before we get to the ugly one.
Win.
Well, hey, it started with a state volleyball championship.
Well, we can do that too.
So we're all extremely pleased about our volleyball team and Coach Fry's and their girls. So we just want to make sure we congratulate them, and our kids got to go at least watch a couple of matches or whatever they call sets. Is that what they call volleyball? Is it sets?
You know more than me.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know, but it was a big time for Eagleville to win that first volleyball state championship. But as you said, and then the football game kicked off and it got ugly for about a half. Yeah, it may have been Halloween night. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, maybe they get that out of your system. Not have to worry about Halloween.
Hopefully we did.
But kids responded, obviously, in the second half. I think you were up by one score at halftime?
I think it was 7-0 at halftime, somewhere in that neighborhood. But we didn't play bad. We just penalties and a lot of different individual mistakes and what we call self-inflicted wounds. We moved the ball. We stopped them defensively, but we just weren't consistent and able to finish off things. And we kind of settled down, woke up, and found our footing in the second half.
Well, I'm not sure how many first half yards Jonathan Jordan had, but he certainly had plenty for the game.
Yeah, he had several yards in the first half, but the thing about him was he may even had 2 touchdowns called back because of penalties. But Jonathan's done extremely well for us. We're excited about the year that he's had, and we're excited about the year that Thomas Solomon has had because it's a 1-2 punch.
Yeah. That has to be frustrating, though, if you have, 2 first half touchdowns kind of called back by penalty.
Yeah. You ought to see how frustrating it is for a coach.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But, I mean, those kids, they play hard. I mean, and that's the whole thing about it is I can't complain about their effort because they're giving you what they have. And holding's going to be called. And you can deal with the holdings. You wish that you didn't get them. But the thing about them is they happen. They kill drives. Down the distance doesn't go in your favor, and it becomes an obstacle to overcome.
We've heard this about the holding penalty that you could call it every time.
Right.
But I heard a coach describe it, and what they were talking about is you kind of almost plan on 1 out of every 6 plays, run plays or whatever, or whatnot, probably having a holding penalty.
And the thing about it, most of the time it's called on the outside of your offensive line. But a lot more of it goes on in the inside of it, with those big body people. But I mean, it's just part of the game, and it's part of those deals where if you're a kid, or if you're a coach or a football team, you got to learn how to, let it go, overcome it, and move on to the next play.
I mean, that's not really one of the. I know you can coach the fundamentals and how not to hold and this, that, and the other. But I mean, in the course of a game, you've got one job to do, and maybe the quarterback stays in the pocket 5 seconds longer, and you're trying to give him room. Those kinds of things happen, and that's why I guess you say that you can live with some of those because those are hustle plays.
That's hustle plays, but most of the time what happens on the holding is you're blocking somebody, your back is to the ball. You don't know where the ball carrier is going, but the defense has their eyes on them, and when the ball redirects, they got to redirect too, and you just kind of get out of position. And I understand
That
that
dragon's
because
roar echoes like
we
thunder.
talk about defensive
Zip past its
defensive
fire,
teams
or distract
practice as
with a
well,
shine.
and they're going
What's
to win
your
some
plan
snaps.
to survive this?
We just got to be able to let it go, move on, and hope it don't happen on the next play.
Kind of like that movie, right? Let it go.
Yeah,
you know.
I don't like the book.
Yeah,
let them, right?
Let's not sing though. We're not going to sing. But you mentioned Thomas last night as well. Almost 100 yards for him and 11 carries. 11 carries, 93 yards, and a touchdown. And got to throw Mr. Puffer in there as well. He only had, two catches?
Two catches.
One for a TD?
Yeah, we hit him on a go route for a touchdown. And he's played well the last two games. And you know, we probably need to start getting the ball a little bit more to him, a little bit more to Marshall Fields. And you know, his name's not on the stat sheet, but I thought that Carter Blair is starting to step up and make some plays for us as a receiver too. So we're starting to establish some things in the pass game, and I think we're going to have to do that as we move forward.
Floyd Walker here with us this morning as we talk about Eagleville football. You did pitch the shutout last night, and we thought we would look on the defensive side to have our SM Concrete Solid performer be Aiden Vestal. 5 tackles, forced fumble, sack.
Yeah, but Vestal, he plays hard. It gives you, I mean, he runs wide open, or as they say, his motor runs hot.
Yeah.
All right, and we thought that he really did a good job last night of creating some defensive stops for us. I think I know one time he did a super job on the quarterback, and I don't know, he may even knock the quarterback out, and you don't want anybody to get hurt, but I thought he did a great job of trying to be physical and play physical last night for us.
So this was a non-league game, non-region game. How many of those do you have to have in the season? I mean,
it's based off of how many teams are in your region.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. What do we have? 16 regions, 17 regions?
Okay, yeah.
So you take us out. So I think we had 4 or 5 non-region games somewhere in that neighborhood. And as we've talked about before, the states set your region schedules, and they set the dates for those region games, and then you had to fill in those slots with non-region teams.
And hopefully they spread those out enough where some teams are playing region and then you can find other opponents.
Right. It's kind of like last night. We had a non-region game, but the big game in our region was Fayetteville City at Richland last night, and they played last night. And so we got to get a win, and one of those two teams had to get a loss. So it kind of starts to clear up the playoff picture a little bit more for you too.
Well, let's talk about that because we've got 1 week left in the regular season and then playoffs, and you play at Fayetteville on Halloween night.
Right.
Boy, that sounds like the start of a spooky book.
Yeah, let's hope not. I've already had one of those. I had one of those last night, so we let's hope not.
So you play Fayetteville. What do you need to do to ensure the best playoff possibilities?
I mean, we need to win. If we can win, we'll either finish first or finish second. Richland will have to have another loss for us to finish first, but we can finish second and possibly host a playoff game at our place. So that's what's on the table for us this coming week.
That's a lot to play for.
It really is. It really is. And I think our kids will accept that challenge. Well, we know we'll have to go back on the road and go down to Fayetteville City. It'll probably be senior night for them. So they'll have a little extra motivation for it. And they'll be playing for an opportunity for second place to host a playoff game as well. So it ought to be a fun night if you're a competitor.
And since, that school, whatever they did down in Lincoln County to create that, and that smaller city school, I guess they're their own. So I don't know how.
I don't know.
But they've kind of become quite a rival for Eagleville.
They really have
in all sports.
In all sports. I mean, especially when you start talking about football, basketball, and girls basketball. They've been highly competitive. They've been a thorn in our side. I know in basketball, I know they have in football, but it's one of those deals where you like to play against good people. I mean, and they're going to present a challenge for us, and it ought to be, like I said, a very, very fun, competitive night for both teams.
They really have had a rich tradition in Lincoln County at the Lincoln County High School, and then Fayetteville came around, and then Lincoln County had slowly been coming back, and they're having a good season down there. So I mean, they're really that is a football area.
It really is. I mean, you think about it. You talking about Lincoln County and their history, and Fayetteville City has won a state championship as well.
Yeah.
So it's one of those situations where they take a lot of pride in their football program in that county, and we take a lot of pride in ours here at Eagleville. So again, it ought to be two real quality football teams competing against one another with an opportunity to host a playoff game.
And I can't tell you how big that is to have the opportunity to host a playoff game.
Well, when you start talking about 1A football, I mean, you get to host a game or you get to hop on the bus for 2.5, 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So, whenever you have an opportunity to play and not ride, you'd rather sleep in your own bed and get in your own bed early on Friday night.
Well, let's hope that the longest trip in the next couple of weeks for you guys is to Fayetteville.
True. That's what we're shooting for.
Yeah. All right, Floyd. Appreciate you coming in this morning.
Thank you, Brian, man. Appreciate y'all having us.
Absolutely. Floyd Walker here with us on the Coaches Show, brought to you by Parks Auction Company. Let their team of experienced and professionally trained staff utilize the auction process to sell your property. Find out more at parksauction.com.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
Choosing the right insurance can be overwhelming. That's where Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance comes in. At Rayburn, we're not just about policies, we're about people. Rick Hall will take the time to understand your needs and find the best coverage at the best price. We've been serving our community since 1973. So why not let Rick Hall take the stress out of insurance? Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency, where you're more than just a policy number. You're our neighbors.
Head over to J. Mullins Jewelry to check out their selection of rings, watches, custom designed jewelry, and much more. They're a local business located at 352 West Northville Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro. They have gifts for all occasions, weddings, graduations, anniversaries, whatever you need, you can find it at J. Mullins Jewelry. That's at 352 West Northville Boulevard or online at mullinsjewelry.com.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive offers complete tax preparation, financial, and bookkeeping services.
This is Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service. From personal tax preparation to business bookkeeping, payroll, and taxes, at Craig's Tax Service, our staff is here to help.
Get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
As a former Siegel Star football player, I know the importance of the high school sports experience. Good luck to all county student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
At Dr. Automotive in Smyrna, from oil changes to major engine and transmission repairs, we've got the cure for your car. Let's hear from customers of Dr. Automotive.
He does a good job. He lets you know what's going on and doing it at a good price.
Danny does a lot in our community, so he's very involved and invested.
I recommend family, friends. Danny is spot on because he'll suggest what I need to do, and of course, I've never had an issue.
For quality care you can trust, visit Dr. Automotive in Smyrna. We've got the cure for your car.
It's time to talk about Middle Tennessee Christian School sports. It's MTCS Cougar Corner, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. Each week we sit down with the coaches to recap the latest games and preview what's ahead. It's time to talk about the orange and white on MTCS Cougar Corner, right here on WGNS and Big G TV. Stay tuned, the show is coming up right after this message from our sponsors.
Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
The large majority of our kids are involved in athletics or extracurricular activities, one or the other, and most are doing multiple activities.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
And that's a great preparation for life. How many of us in our life are just doing one thing? So a well-rounded student is a huge deal.
Invest in your child's future in a Christ-centered environment with many athletic and extracurricular choices.
Without a doubt, our students have the opportunity to be involved in multiple activities.
To find out more, visit mtcscougars.org.
Genesee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in treating local athletes here in Rutherford County. Here's Dr. Russell McKissick with TOA.
We have a passion here for taking care of our athletes here in Rutherford County. We really do our best to take care of them.
Experts in joint, bones, and muscles.
Many years we've been taking care of athletes around here, and we've just picked up where Dr. John started, and we just keep going.
TOA has a playbook that gets you back in the game. To request an appointment, visit TOA.com or call 855-NEED-TOA. TOA, live your best life.
Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
People love to see us on the schedule when they have a home game because our fans show up.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
The way we travel is just phenomenal. Our parents and our community are fully engaged in our school. When we compete, we're trying to do it in a way that honors God. We want to win. We also want to do it in a way that pleases Him.
Providing Christian values and academic excellence in a nurturing environment. That's Middle Tennessee Christian School. Invest in the future of your child. Find out more at mtcscougars.org.
We're back for MTCS Cougar Corner, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance and fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, wgnssports.com, and Big G TV.
And we are here on MTCS Cougar Corner this morning. Glad you're along with us. Our show presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, keeping you in the game. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. Cougar Corner this week is very special as we have returning guest, Coach Nicole Burks, talking MTCS volleyball, and this is some really special stuff we're going to get to talk about this morning. Coach Burks, first of all, thanks for being with us this morning, and man, what a whirlwind of a week you've had.
Yes, it has been a whirlwind last few days. So, but it's been amazing.
So, how does it feel to be called state champion after this long, hard season and seasons? Put the years together, and all through middle school and now to high school and senior year for daughter, and all these kind of emotions have to be kind of going through your mind after this.
Yes, I think it was really just a release of a lot of emotions, I think, for all of us, families and parents. Those girls have been together since sixth grade. The senior class has been together since sixth grade. And, we have been so close. 4 consecutive Final Fours, been right there. And then to see this group who has, like I said, really been the foundation of this program, to get it done this year was just surreal, just a full circle moment, I think, for those girls and their families and really the community. I think they had seen these girls, fight and claw to be in it, and to see them, get it this year, it was special, just a full circle moment.
I'm not sure if you realize this or not, but the MTCS will go down in history, of course, winning the first ever volleyball state title for the school, but you're the first team in Rutherford County to win a volleyball state championship, just a day ahead of a team just up the road, but you beat them to it just by virtue of the bracket and when you played.
Wow. I did not realize that.
Yeah. Eagleville got to the championship game in 99, and of course they've been really good, but and they won the day after you did, but the first championship for Rutherford County volleyball, and belongs to MTCS. So that's pretty special. And you, as a lover of the game itself, volleyball has just exploded here. And I think, honestly, what you've done and with your business and travel and all of that kind of thing, I think you've really kind of helped to put volleyball on the map. It's become the hottest girls sport in TSSAA in Tennessee, I think.
Yes, it's amazing. We were talking about this week. There's so many teammates and community friends and connections that were in the state tournament this weekend. Summit High School won as well. That are on that team is teammates with my daughter and Jada Burns. Eagleville, there's so many kids within that club that play at the same club that our kids are at. And so, yes, there were, just a lot of intertwinings of teams and girls that, we all share weekends together and club tournaments together. And so I think that was really neat as well, just to see those kids really have that success. And not just in the state championships, but a lot of teams, even within, Rutherford County and other counties being right there, in this state, Elite Eight or, close to making a run. So, yes, I mean, it's a wonderful sport. It's a great community. I think even, winning this week, just so many texts and emails and just within our volleyball community of just congratulations. So I think just really supporting each other. And like I said, we see each other a lot outside of our school seasons as well. So
yeah, and you have to add Siegel and Blackman to the mix.
Right.
They made the state tournament, and
right.
So it's been a great volleyball season, and of course you guys a big part of that. I don't want to talk about you talk about as many of the players as you want to, but when that happened and you won the state title, there was really several people that I thought about, but really
That
none
cave
more
is dripping
than
with
Anna Clay
secrets.
Shirley.
Ever thought about sneaking
with what
past
she's
instead
had
of
to go
fighting?
through
What's your next
physically
move?
and injuries, and to come back.
Oh, that's a, story in itself.
Yeah.
Anna Clay is, first off, she's a fierce competitor, and she has been since sixth grade. And this year, early working with her parents and our, athletic, training staff of, hey, we've got to ease her in, we have to be patient and, let her continue to get stronger. And, the goal was always for her to be, her best at the end of October. I could tear up talking about that kid. But, what she had to go through, I feel like mentally, and even physically, the behind the scenes, weight room and, physical therapy and knowing she couldn't be out there with her team because it was the right decision to ease her in and not, have her play 6 rotations early, to hopefully try to achieve the goal that we did this week. And so the way I think she handled her, new role, and being just, proud of her teammates and, encouraging them and, hey, you've got this. And, hey, I'm not out there all the time, but I'm easing back in. And I think the way she handled that injury, and her fight to get back for her team. And that's really what it was. It was just an internal spirit of, hey, I want to do this. I want to go win a state championship as a senior, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there, and to see her patience, through that. And then I think to see that moment yesterday, there was just a lot of emotion, I think, behind that win for a variety of reasons for all of us. But to see that come full circle for her after everything she'd been through, it was beyond special.
Yeah. I just think about what happened to her during the basketball season and, just to, I think it was December last year and almost a year since, and just what had to happen to be back to play at the level that she did. And I'm sure that she got a lot of support from the rest of the girls on the volleyball team as well, and encouragement. And that has to help because as you mentioned, you build kind of a family atmosphere around it.
I do. I think, I don't think you can win a state championship, without culture. And I think one thing this team, and honestly, this group, the senior class really since sixth grade, it was, they were a team first mentality. It was, whatever was for the good of the team. And, not a selfish group, always, wanting the girl beside them to be the best version of herself and encouraging that. And so I think, just that's the type of kids that they are, right? And so, like I said, to see Anna Clay go through that, to see her teammates kind of rally around her, to see others, really step up and lead, this year. It just, that moment this week was a full circle moment for them, but it doesn't happen without that culture. And I think because this group had been to 4 consecutive Final Fours, they knew what it was going to take to finally get it. And to be honest with you, I think that started really the minute that this season started. It was, what do we have to do to get it done? And, this year, it just took a lot of people, a lot of behind the scenes people, our admin team, our athletic staff, our families, just, pouring into these kids. One thing we really focused this year spiritually and devotionals and praying together. And, that was really the foundation this year was we were giving it to him. It was in his hands and in his control. And, that was a really big foundation this year as well, real focus. And it just, like I said, it just to see that really just to finish this week was just incredible.
Yeah. Nicole Burks joining us, MTCS Volleyball State Championship coach here on MTCS Cougar Corner. Jada Burns wound up the MVP of the state tournament, 27 kills, 4 digs, just another one of those cool kids that you have on your team, I think.
Yeah, Jada, she's had a tremendous, season this year and really rose, early, I think, with some of the patience that we had to have in different lineups and things that we had to kind of run early. I think Jada kind of really, stepped into that role and just really became a dominant hitter for us this year. And like I said, she's a special kid. Her, Addison, and her have played together since they were in kindergarten, softball teams and basketball teams. And, to see her really kind of step into that role this year, she had a tremendous season. And I think you go back to, culture and, when she won that MVP award, I think there's a picture in the Daily News Journal of the entire team, like, celebrating around her and jumping up, and she kind of has this like shy grin on her face. And I think that picture speaks volumes just about this team as well, of like, hey, we're rooting for each other, and we're celebrating each other's moments. So yeah, she just had a great season this year.
Bailey Culpepper, 44 assists, a couple of blocks, 8 digs. Addison Sane, 6 kills, 2 blocks. I mean, we could go on with some of the stats here, but just really great cohesiveness and coming together. Was there a time in any of the state tournament games that, you really had to dig a little deeper to come out on the victorious side of things?
You talking about in the state tournament?
Yeah, any time during that run?
That's what I was going to say. I think we have, tremendous leadership. When you talk about kids and stepping up, we were in a 5-set match against FRA, to advance and to host that region championship. And we were down 2 sets, and we came back and did a reverse sweep on FRA to end up hosting the region championship. And I think just the leadership from, Addison Burks kind of runs our defense in the back row. Bailey Culpepper's kind of running that offense in the front row. And I think you don't win some of those games without that just leadership and that spirit and that passion. And I think if you look at, Silverdale's a tough matchup. They're, a little bit bigger than us up front. And, then we ended up facing, Lakeway, which has a Division I commit, and Darby Phelps. And the way we handled, I feel like, those matches and our defense and our offense, like, you just can't get through matches like that without the physicality and the leadership of really all of those kids together. And so, yes, it was not easy getting through that. We had, really just to have to fight and claw through it. And I think that actually made it even sweeter this year, is that we really had to fight to to get through it this year.
No one is crowned, in the preseason or without playing, any matches. But I think you all had the target. You all had kind of the, state favorite, maybe. That's different to handle than, coming up just short, 3 years in a row there with this group. They had to play in a different way. They knew that they were kind of the hunted.
Yes. Again, I think it goes back to really that senior, leadership. All those girls had kind of been in that moment, multiple times, right? Addison Burks and, Anna Clay and Jada have all started since freshmen and had really been in those big moments early. And so I think just kind of drowning out that noise, staying together. We kept saying all season long, it's just us, and really focus and really just that culture. And, we eat together, we do pregame meals together, we pray together. And so I don't think, I think those girls had one goal in mind, and to really stay focused, stay disciplined, trust each other, and really trust that process. And, everything would kind of fall into place. And so, they don't get too caught up in that. They're a very humble group. And like I said, I think they really set out this year to get it done. And so, like I said, I think the community, knowing all that we have been through the last little bit, and to see that kind of, happen on Thursday, it was really special.
Nicole Burks is joining us here on MTCS Cougar Corner, presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. You played Silverdale. That was your opening matchup in the state tournament, and then defeated them, and then 2 days later play them for a state title, and I think it was 1-1 after 2, right?
Right.
And how tough is it to play a team that just played a couple of days before?
It is tough a little bit, because you feel like, okay, we got them the first time, you kind of feel a little bit like, oh, you should get them again. And, that's what I told them. I was like, this is a completely new game today, right? Like what happened, that first time with them, there's going to be adjustments and there's going to be changes, and, you're going to get their best. And, I think, we really worked hard on, we had a guest speaker come in. Michael Burt came in and spoke to our kids a few days ago of, just really staying focused. And, obviously the transition from MTCS to Murphy Center, a court is a court is a court, right? And really walking out there that morning and really staying focused, with Silverdale. And I thought, I knew they were going to give us their best. Silverdale's, like I said, they're a little bit bigger than us. But the girls were focused. We played, tremendous defense against their bigs. And, we were really up in that second set, to be honest with you. But the girls just continued to push and continue to be aggressive. And like I said, we defended well, we set well, and Jada and Anna Clay, Maddie Dare Grubb, just kept putting it away, and, we found a way. So
talk about the support from the school, if you will. And you touched on administration and athletics, and, it's exciting. It does so much for a school to, and just pump so much energy. I think sometimes we lose the fact that, that's one thing that sport, whatever sport it is, really injects into the school and into the culture. And, the high school years should be the best of your life, or some of the best of your life. And just kind of talk about the mood and support and all of that from MTCS, the community.
Yeah, I really can't. I can't say enough really about our administration and the support that we have. Mr. Tiller, Dr. Sane, Jason Piercy, like I said, our athletics training staff, Grace Weaver and Drew Shea. And, there's so many people, behind the scenes that you don't see that goes into winning a state championship. I think you even saw, maybe if you're on Facebook, the post yesterday of, Mr. Eddie, who's part of our facilities team, and the scripture, that he had written daily for us since our season started. And, I think walking out of that tunnel yesterday, Thursday, and seeing that just sea of orange, it's a core memory for me. And it was, loud, and you could just feel it. And I think even the days at school, organizing a way for them to purchase tickets and our community to really be a part of that process with us. And, there's nothing like it. And I think, this win is so much for those girls and that senior class and our team and, the goals that we set out to achieve. But I think when it's a win for our school. And, Dr. Sane was our chauffeur all season long. He drove the van for us all season, and kind of became a superstition of he had to drive the van everywhere. And, he drove us to the gym that morning, and, we're listening to worship music on the way over there. And, Jason Piercy, our AD, who, we come back from winning, and they have a full celebration for our girls. They have refreshments and drinks set up and chairs, and, so many people came back to celebrate with those kids back at MTCS to really make them feel so special. And so I agree with you. I think winning the state championship is so much bigger than even just your team. It's such a moment for your school and your community and the people behind the scenes that, I work with every day and the kids work with every day. But to see that come just really full circle for our whole community, it's something I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
Okay, so I'm going to get a little personal here. I want you to take your Coach Burke's hat off and put on Mom Burke's hat a little bit. Have you been able to celebrate as mom?
I have. I could get emotional talking about it. I took over, I started coaching at MTCS when Addison was in the 5th grade as an assistant, and then took over as head coach of the middle school program, when she was in 6th grade. And, I think when I got to embrace her, on that court that day, it's just, I think the photo was captured and I could just cry looking at it because it was years in the making. I was on the 99 Eagleville team that came up short in the state tournament that year. And to see this come full circle, for my daughter and her to have that moment, Addison has worked tirelessly, in this sport. It's a passion that we share together as mom and daughter, and, weekends together and traveling together. And, and now Addison will, she's signed to play volleyball at middle. And so I think that moment with her of all these years together, and to see that just come full circle for her and share that moment with her, even as mom and daughter, it's really incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know that you've had the chance to kind of soak that in too, that, with Kara and Gretchen over at Eagleville, but you all played together and win the first 2 state championships in volleyball, and you get to do it with your daughter, and Kara did as well. I mean, can we not get a Netflix movie out of this or something?
That's what we said. We need to write a story about it. And like I said, even I think for the senior class, what they have been through, and just the will to win and just continue to fight and want it. It really is something out of a storybook, to be honest with you. But those moments are special, and, we've always had a great relationship. And I think I told you last time on the show is, I'm coach when I'm out there. But the minute we get in the car, it's like, hey, what do you want for dinner? We've always kind of had that separation, and it's been a joy to coach her all these years. And like I said, it's really a neat story for a lot of variety of reasons, right? Like our senior class and what they've done, and then the connection, yesterday, like you said, with Kara and Campbell and Gretchen, and, bringing home that first state championship there as well. It's really a neat moment.
Well, it had to be kind of cool to finish your high school career at the place where you're going to play college.
Yes, it was really neat to see, Coach Keckler and their staff had come out to support all week long. And of course they traveled for a match out of state the day of the state tournament. But yeah, so, I think Addison was quoted that in the paper of really special to be able to end her high school career at a place that she'll begin her college career.
Yeah. We could go on for forever here, and I want to respect your time on all of this, but this is really a building block. I mean, kind of creating a program that is known maybe in the next 10 years. We talk about more state title runs, and that's kind of where you want to be in the program as the head coach, I would think.
Yes, we have, like I said, a tremendous group. And I think what was so special this year was the way that senior class led those underclassmen. The kindness and the humble and the example of, hey, if you want this, it requires hard work and dedication. And, every day, my senior class was the first ones in practice, right? First ones to set up the net, last ones to leave. And I think the legacy that this class will leave really sets the example for the ones below it. And so I agree with you. I think it's special to see, Maddie Deergrubb, was a freshman in the Final Four, and then now this year to win it as a sophomore. Elise White, Anna Clark-Guerin. There's several girls that have had the experience 2 years in a row. And then we had some girls that were with us during this process and practicing over fall break. And, so I think to see, for the underclassmen to see what it takes to get here and pull this off is something that, they can really build on. And just the legacy that's left, that example is going to, really carry them through, I feel like. Coach,
it's been fun talking to you a couple of times this season, and this was one interview that I knew we were going to do. I didn't know when, and I was texting back and forth with Piercy and Peterson and saying, I don't want that to be something that's on Coach's mind. She's got enough to worry with, and we were going to, wait a couple of weeks and, Piercy, and then finally Jason and I talked, and it's like, we need to get Nicole and let's do it here. And I do appreciate you in a short time and several texts and whatnot, being able to come on and be on the show with us to talk about your girls and the team and just the whole experience here. Pretty fresh off of it too. And it's kind of fun.
No, we're so appreciative. Like I said, I had no trouble to do it this morning. Like I said, we're so grateful for the community and just our staff and just the support that they've had. They've given us all year long, and we couldn't do it without them. So we appreciate you and having us on and wanting to talk about it. So I think we're going to want to talk about it for a while.
I'm very sure, and should be. Well, Coach, congratulations on the state championship. And I just really don't know that people understand how very, very hard it is to do what you guys were able to accomplish this year.
It is. I told somebody that. I said, this was, really 7 years in the making, right? Yeah. And how difficult it is to, really to ever get to a Final Four. I think to get to 4 Final Fours and then to see it, this last year for this, team to go win a state championship. I think we've talked about that to several people. It is hard. And when you do get it, you're just so grateful for it and so appreciative. And this team really earned that this year. So it was just so special for, to see it pay off all their hard work for them to get it this season.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being with us this morning. Again, congratulations on the big win.
Thank you so much. I hope you have a great weekend.
You too. That is Nicole Burks joining us here on MTCS Cougar Corner, volleyball state champions, and congratulations to them. That's going to wrap up our conversation here on all of the coaches' shows today. I've got to thank John Dinkins and Bill Hockenberry, of course, for helping me host the show today, and our producer has been Dalton Barrett. Hope you have a wonderful Saturday and weekend
And we'll see you back here next Saturday morning for another edition of MTCS Cougar Corner.